Am I live right now? Okay, hold on. I'm in this weird limbo where I don't know if anyone can hear me, and I also can't tell if I'm live on the internet. This is scary. Let me just go to my channel. youtube.com/ddangelo. Oh, they can't find me. Oh, because I didn't type that correctly. This is like the content of all of my nightmares. Me being live on the internet and not knowing I'm live on the internet. I am live on the internet. Oh, hi. Okay, everyone can hear me. This is scary. Hello. I've been live for the past minute. Okay, great. I hit a button. This is really funny because I created this whole like 5-minute starting soon screen. Actually, I put a lot of work into it. And I wanted everybody to see like the cool graphics I had made. There was like a whole song, but I just hit a button and instantly started broadcasting. I think it's a little too easy to go live on the internet. This is disturbing. Okay, great. Well, I'm here. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. For posterity's sake, I want people to sort of maybe be able to see what's being said on the screen. Wait, I'm sorry, y'all. I've never streamed on YouTube before. So first of all, hi. It's nice to see you after so long. Somebody said new aesthetic just dropped. This is peak. Thank you. I put so much work into this new aesthetic. My goal was I wanted it to have like this sort of liminal Y2K like cyber feeling, but I didn't want to just default to using AI for everything because I think that's genuinely just the most creatively bankrupt way of coming up with things. So I actually spent some coin. I spent some intellectual my last 2 brain cells is what I'm trying to say into like whipping this up. I didn't create this. I'm not that talented, but I made like a mock-up. I sent it to like this studio that made this background for me, which I think is so cool. Yeah, I put so much work into it, actually. That's kind of one of my core tenets of my 2026 content is like no AI. Somebody said the mic is pink too. Yeah, I got this mic arm custom covered in this pink thread, which I think is really fun. I found a pink XLR cable. Like, it's great. It's great. Okay, but I'm glad people are trickling in. I'm not going to launch immediately into what I was going to say. As I mentioned, there really straight up was supposed to be a 5-minute waiting period for everyone to trickle in and get hype, but that's okay. You can be hype with me. Oh my gosh. Someone said, I'm glad you're alive and well. You are so loved. Thank you. Well, I am alive. Am I well is the question. I'm about as well as one can be. I'm more well than I was the last time you saw me. Someone said hand tattoos. I have 1 hand tattoo. We could talk more about that later. I do know I look a lot different than the last time you saw me, which is funny because I don't feel like I look that much different. I don't know if it's just like, I don't know how to explain it, but I actually don't feel like I look different at all than the last time you saw me. But maybe it's because I've looked like this for the past 6 months. I was just touching grass. And so none of y'all realize. Someone said you look like a model boy. Well, thank you. I am modeling. If somebody wants to send me clothes, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Somebody said I'm glad you're better than I am. I mean, I think at the end of last year, wait, oh my God, it's 2026. I hate this. At the end of 2024, which was the last time I ever posted content on the internet, I wasn't doing poorly mentally because of my job. I actually was having fun posting videos daily. I really enjoyed what I was doing. I liked most aspects of the community and stuff like that. I think it was just everybody else on the internet was just getting so because the elections had just happened and everything was just hitting like peak garbage. And I was just like, man, it's crazy how going and diving into piles of garbage and just wading through garbage to make garbage about garbage leaves you feeling like garbage at the end of the day. So that's kind of what I was dealing with. He's bald and torturing people who have hair. Do you know how many times I've seen that comment on Instagram? So many times. I have an Instagram, by the way. Don't follow me there. I actually like the fact that nobody follows me on Instagram because I can essentially post whatever nonsense I want. And that's the only social media I have. It's the only social media I have. I feel like I should put some sort of banner on screen so people know I'm not just going to be ranting aimlessly the entire time, but that's okay. Okay, so while I have you all here held hostage, I'm going to try to see if I can hit a button and add you all to... Hold on. This is a laptop on a little, I got this for Christmas, not this year, but, oh no, wait, I didn't get this for Christmas. Someone I know got this for Christmas and then I took it from them because it's such a good little like lap desk. I can put my laptop on my lap. Isn't that like revolutionary? Wow, who knew? But yeah, from this laptop, I think I should be able, oh my gosh. I am a little overwhelmed right now. It's not your fault, and it's not my fault. I must have been built different when I was 22. Because I think when I was live before on I think when I was live before on Twitch, I used to stream on Twitch. Wait, raise your hand if you remember Twitch streams. Does anybody remember the Twitch D'Angelo era? Because that was kind of crazy, low-key. It was scary. I was really, really active at that time. But during those Twitch streams, I feel like I didn't have any trouble streaming at all for the most part. But now I'm just like, Lord, this is being recorded for posterity. Scary. Okay, hold on. So if I go to YouTube and I add my name as a source, and then I activate it, select live sources. I think that y'all should show up on screen, maybe. Wait, I think I did it wrong. Hold on. Activate selected. It's not a short, it's just a YouTube live. All right, well, you know, some things are easier said than done for sure. I don't know why it's not working. Oh, I have to sign into YouTube. Hold on. This is so funny. Signing into YouTube for the 12th time today, just trying to get my stream off the ground. I don't even remember my Google anything. It's not like I've been completely offline, but I haven't had to set up a stream from scratch in a while. Someone said, "You're back. I missed you. I'm just glad you're still out there doing the thing." Thank you. I've been out there doing a lot of things lately, actually. Mostly just grass. So much grass. I didn't even know that there was that much grass in the world to touch, actually, until 2025 when I spent most of my time outside. Well, I won't lie to you. I didn't spend most of my time outside. I'm a homebody. But I spent a decent amount of time outside, and I realized there's just grass for days, y'all. Someone said the lighting in the setup is so good too. Thank you. Yeah. I have a key light and then I have a fill light right there. I had this sort of other light on this side of me, but I was like, nah, I want it to be a little low key. I'm going for like a little low key vibe. I hate the way I talk sometimes. I'm going for a little low key. Like, can you just never speak again? Low key, but that's okay. Oh, I said low key again. You know what? I'm just being myself. All right, so I've now connected my YouTube. Darn, y'all still aren't... Okay. You would seriously think it would be easier to get the messages to show up on screen. I hate doing like a first stream as well, because it's just so... it's so... tricky to set everything up. Okay, wait. Oh, look at that. Like magic. He's so good. I'm so good. Okay, wow. I did that by myself. Not by myself. There are moderators here, so don't wild out. Don't do that. But yeah, this is awesome. Okay, I'm really happy. I wanted to change the chat mode to be like subscriber only. Not to disenfranchise all of you, but mostly just because it's moving really fast and I don't want my... Look at that. That's scary. So I don't know how to do that though. I do know how to do that. You can't give the trolls the idea that you don't have power. I'm in complete control over this live stream, as you will soon see. I will ban anybody who breathes, honestly. A lot of y'all breathed after I said that. Y'all must think I'm kidding or something. Y'all must think I'm kidding. All right. Nah, it's fine. No, I shouldn't say it's fine. How do I change it to subscriber only? And I promise this is the last techie thing I'll do. After I figure that out, I will just talk to you instead of looking at my laptop this entire time. So you can see the amazing top of my head. You know, I didn't even realize how much I liked the top of my head until recently, because I hadn't seen it in like 7 years. No, probably longer than 7 years. I had no idea what my head shape was like. No idea. I didn't know. Like, I was like, can skulls change? I remember what it looked like when I was a kid, but I was like, what if I cut off all my hair and then I don't like what's there? That rhymes. That's bars. Somebody could turn that into something. But yeah, I was really worried for a second, but I figured it out. Okay, so I think I have to go to YouTube Studio to fix this. Maybe. Hopefully. Oh my gosh. Man, I like streams, but I like streaming, but I don't really like the technical aspects of it because it is genuinely so difficult to like get the audio synced and everything looking good and not laggy. Okay, hold on. So if I go to YouTube, someone said no one cuss. Okay, hold on. Close. Pop out chat, community moderation. Lord, I just feel like it gets more difficult every single time I try to do this. Messages in your live chat. Post in your community. User management. Wow. All right. You know what? I'm just going to leave it as is. Don't tell anybody that it's not subscriber only. I will figure out how to change that between this stream and the next, but until then, we'll just have to be fine. I mean, I feel like the chat's behaving low-key, so I'm not like worried. But yeah, if it gets crazy, we'll just put the kibosh. I don't know what the kibosh means. I shouldn't say things that I don't understand, but tech support? I need tech support. I don't feel very supported right now. Someone said I can't go bald. I feel like an egg. My friends would call me Humpty Dumpty. I mean, like, on the one hand, you have to embrace it. But on the other hand, sometimes I do feel like an egg. But, you know, you just got to be like, Humpty Dumpty was not put back together again. So you have to transcend Humpty Dumpty. You know, you have to be the little egg that could. All right. Hearing your voice makes me so happy. Yay. Well, thank you. Seeing these messages makes me so happy. I haven't read a single message on YouTube or chat comment. I forgot what they were called. I haven't read a single YouTube comment that was like directed towards something I created in a really long time. So that's fun. All right. I do think that there's a pretty decent amount of people here now, though, to where I can sort of maybe think about transitioning into what I was going to say. Let me pop out the chat. All right. The chat has been popped out. Oh, I need to mute YouTube too. Oh, no, wait. No, I don't. Okay. Someone said the baldness is extenuating the jawline. Yeah, I realize there's like a really complex theory, or wait, it's not really that complex, but basically like everything that you do with your face is low-key a trade-off, right? So cutting off all your hair, you don't have hair anymore. That's your trade-off. I can't have cool hairstyles, blah, blah, blah. But I get the benefit of like accentuating, you know, my bone structure. So I feel like a lot of times people will say like, oh, you look so good, or this person looks so good, or like we follow these people who look great and stuff like that. But looking good is really just knowing math of like, hey, if I do this, will this accentuate this other thing? If I take away from here, will this make this other thing better? Like, I don't know. Face card never declines. All right, anyways, someone asked, will this be a VOD? Yes, you do not have to stay. Well, I feel like telling people during a live chat that they don't have to stay is crazy. But I've disabled my viewer count because I don't care how many people are watching me. You don't have to stay. If you are busy, it is like the new year or whatever, go be free. All of this will be available later. I won't I probably won't cut any of it out. Probably. But yeah, I'm going to be live for maybe a couple hours. I just want to tell y'all a little bit about something. You may have noticed I've been dancing around the topic. Because I didn't say what I was going to be talking about in my community post. Ignore my whack band-aid. I didn't say what I was going to be talking about in my I feel like the chat paused. Or am I memeing? Maybe the chat didn't pause. Did y'all break it? Probably. Most likely. I have no idea if the chat paused or not. But if it did, that's not really the end of the world. I don't believe. It's fine. It'll be okay. I mean, there's it's not like there's anything bad on screen right now. I don't know why it got stuck like that. That's so weird. Yeah, that's so weird. It's just stuck. Okay, whatever. Maybe I can refresh that at a later date. Maybe I cannot. Wait, hold on. This is getting dumb, though. This is getting dumb because you are watching me currently on one computer, which is my Mac. I also have... Can you see this? I don't know if anybody can see or hear me right now, but this is another computer. This is not the same computer we were just on. So this is like a Windows computer. If I need to look stuff up or show stuff on screen, I can do that here. And I have it separate because what I don't want is for one computer to start using a bunch of resources and then my stream starts lagging because, when my stream lags, I want to cry. So I feel like separating them was a really good idea, but it's gotten dumb because now I have a third computer. And I accidentally only have my chat stuff set up on this third computer. It's supposed to be... This is so stupid. Okay, hold on. Why? Hold on. It signed me out. Nah, I got to keep the session that I have and just try to auto-activate it. I also hear audio right now. Something on one of my computers is playing me speaking, and I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it. Let's see. I'm going to close out. Yeah, I found you. It's you right here. You got to go. Okay, great. I don't hear myself anymore. Saved. Someone said, bro's playing 3 computer chess. 3 computers is a little extra. 3 is too much. 2 is fine. 3 is dumb. Dumb. First world problems be bro, everything about streaming is such a first world problem. Any bit of technical issues I have, I'm just it's crazy how all of this could be avoided by, I don't know, not streaming. I could just go live on Instagram on my phone like a normal person. Someone said turn on super chats. Oh, okay, wait. That's a great topic. Here, instead of staring at my 5 laptops. Did you see that for a second? Whoa, everybody's back. Oh my god, why is the chat moving so quickly? This is unreadable. Okay, it stopped. Yeah, yo, I gotta figure out the chat scenario because this is scaring me. I feel like that was faster than real life. Anyways, let's talk about super chats for a second though. I am not turning those on. Mostly because I don't want you to give me $5 for any reason. There's not really any kind of moral argument or elaborate anything. Honestly, I'm really, really grateful for all of your support in general. But I do feel like it's not something I need, which I'm happy about. It's not something you need to do, by the way. There's no way to be a channel member. You're a channel member by being subscribed. I've also disabled super chats, memberships, any of that. I just, if you want to support me, if you want to make it to where I can continue doing stuff like this, just keep clicking into the videos the same as it's always been. But yeah, I don't know. I like super chats. I think that they're important. I don't want to be one of those content creators that's like, I'm disabling donations because donations are awful and you're ripping people off. No, I actually think it's a pretty decent model for creators up to a certain size. I just happened to pass that size a long time ago. Y'all be easy. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. We've been past the point where I would actually need to worry about that too much. And I am eternally grateful. Go support smaller creators. Please, for the love of God. Find some, I mean, if you have money to throw around, find somebody on Patreon who is making something awesome. You know what I mean? Like, and if not, just keep watching people's videos. It's giving anti-capitalist queen. No, unfortunately, like, I am anti-capitalist in terms of like my mindset. I would be happier if I woke up tomorrow and all of these capitalist structures I operate under were completely obliterated. God, I would be so happy. But but unfortunately, that's not really the case I'm in. So I find myself having to make decisions to survive under capitalism all the time. And they're not decisions I would be making if I didn't live in this structure. So that's fun. I'm as anti-capitalist as I can be. No, I'm not even that, but I'm constantly trying to educate myself and just be less awful. Like, hey, point blank, I'll order something from Amazon if I can't find it anywhere else. I know it sucks a lot. Like, supporting Amazon is really mid. It's really lame. But at the end of the day, if it's like I have exhausted my other resources, I don't really see too much of a point in not using what's available. I think because, too, I'm kind of like two minds about it. It's definitely better than just not trying at all. I think a lot of people are like, well, all, you know, consumption under capitalism involves exploitation. It does. But then they kind of go to the second step, which is like, so I'm just not going to try anything ever. And I'm like, huh? How did you get from point A to point B? Or people also kind of have this idea that like any sort of personal offsets that we do are just going to be wiped out in an instant when some billionaire hops in their private jet and just spews more carbon emissions than we could ever hope to produce in like a lifetime or whatever. I don't know if it's an actual lifetime. I don't know math like that, but I just don't think that's a good reason to never try to be better. So I've sort of just walked the line between I'm trying to do things that are good, and if I can't always do things that are good, I'm not going to beat myself up over it. I'm just not. Because I didn't invent capitalism at the end of the day, you know? I'm resisting it. I saw the word resist in the chat. I'm resisting capitalism. I am capitalist resistant as much as I can be. Somebody said I want to know what triggered the haircut. The weather. I live south of the Mason-Dixon line, which is a very American way of saying the South. And down here in the South, it's just hot all the time. All the time. It's never been a summer that I wasn't just burning and melting at the same time. Do you know how hot it has to be to burn and melt at the same time? Pretty hot. Not in a cool way. So yeah, I think for like the 7th year, I saw the forecasts coming up and I was like, I don't want to burn under a mountain of beautiful hair. I liked my hair a lot. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, no one broke up with me. I didn't go through any major life changes. I just didn't want to be hot anymore. Well, I mean, with a face like this, it's kind of hard not to be, but you know what I mean. People keep asking me if I got married. Y'all, I've literally been wearing this ring on publicly in my videos for the past 5, 6, 7 years. I didn't get married. Nothing has changed there. Thoughts on the Nicki Minaj situation? I'm ending the stream. No, hold on. Low-key, that's kind of a topical question because one of the things that I'm going to be getting into a lot this year is like when to ignore people, right? It's actually not always beneficial to call people out. I know this sounds so obvious. Me saying it right now is dumb, but it's genuinely not always a good idea to pay attention to people. And I think we've gotten a lot worse as a community of viewers at identifying which people do not need to be paid attention to. You know what I mean? Nicki Minaj, obviously all the harm that she's doing just by spewing all this nonsense and then having her fans of hers who are still defending her in turn, defend all the nonsense. Yes, this is harmful. And yes, there is utility in pointing out that this is bad and not just kind of letting that slide. But that definitely doesn't mean we need like play-by-play updates of every single thing that Nicki Minaj is saying in her latest foray into trying to become the most MAGA-pilled person she can be. I don't know. I'm actually kind of over it a lot. And I really am going to try hard next year to like not give people as much attention as they're angling for. Like how to talk about Nicki Minaj without platforming her per se unnecessarily. It's kind of interesting. Somebody asked, what is with this 6'7" stuff? I shouldn't have said it out loud just now. It's 2026. I don't know why people... Please leave the curse numbers in 2025. That's what my comeback stream is about. Is about 6'7". Someone said, truly, the negative publicity is doing nothing truly negative for her. It just gives more negative opportunity. I think that that's a pretty good point. You have to sort of think like, when am I like drawing attention to something versus when am I actually calling something out? It's not always the same thing. It's not always the same thing. I think there's a lot of times where like, that's also why a lot of times I won't do follow-up videos. I don't know if y'all remember, I'm pretty sure there's only been one or maybe two times I've ever done an actual follow-up video. And that was just because the things that I was reacting to, once I get past that initial stage of like informing people, I don't really see too much utility in lingering in the garbage world that this person has created. I don't know. That's just me personally. What do I know? Someone said the fact that she thinks she won't get deported. No, I mean, the thing about Nicki Minaj, going on this cozying up to MAGA thing, or honestly, the thing about any person who is marginalized in any way, whether that is via you being an immigrant or a person of color or in the LGBT community or whatever, hilarious isn't the right word. But it is kind of funny that y'all think y'all wouldn't be the first ones to get hate crimed. I don't know why it strikes me as not funny. Funny is not the right word. I guess it's just a little baffling to me because I'm like, what reality do you live in where you think that these people hate you less just because you're doing MAGA cosplay? I don't know. It's so odd. It's so odd to me personally. Anyways. All right. It's been enough rambling. I've been live for, how long have I been live? 30 minutes. All right. That's enough. If you're here, you're here. If you're not here, then you are literally not here. So I'm not even speaking to you right now. But yes, hello all. Thank you for joining the live stream. I want to tell you something. And I'm kind of going to frame it as a story time, right? I think that's the best way to kind of get into it. So about a year and not a half ago yet, I uploaded a video about Starbucks. How many of us remember the Starbucks video? Yeah, I uploaded a video about Starbucks and I immediately got a lot of backlash, which I handled very swiftly. In my opinion, I actually thought I handled it pretty well. But I downplayed my reaction a lot. I downplayed my reaction to that a lot because I was actually kind of shook. And what I realized during my Starbucks video, and this is just going to sound really rough, but I've been psyching myself up to say this on the internet for so long, is that a lot of people in the commentary community on the viewer side are really stupid. They're just really dumb. I didn't want to say that because I felt like if I said that out loud, I would get in some sort of trouble. Or like by addressing the elephant in the room, I would make it real. You know what I mean? And when I say dumb and when I say stupid, I can be a little bit more specific than that. there is a new, there's kind of like pre-TikTok and post-TikTok. I don't know if y'all know this. I'll show you right now. I have sources. I can back this up, okay? This is still a D'Angelo Wallace stream if y'all thought you weren't going to get sources. Okay, hold on, because I kind of have to Google this in real time. TikTok takes over as main news source. I feel like I had... Oh my god, why isn't it in Bing? Why would I ever want to do a Google search on Bing? This is awful. Oh, but I mean, it did work. So according to, I don't know, this is Entrepreneur, but I think I found this on like Business Insider or something like that. TikTok has just taken over YouTube and Instagram as the top news source for young people, right? Basically what this is getting at is that like most people or more people are getting their quote unquote news from TikTok than they are from anywhere else. And I can tell. I think this is the best way I can put it. Y'all, I can tell. Hold on. I got to switch back. Sorry, I'm still trying to learn. God, every time I switch back, the chat starts going so fast. That is like, that's clearly an error. But anyways, I don't like a lot of the people who are watching content now, because I feel like there's nothing wrong with getting the majority of your news from TikTok, but there's definitely something wrong with being TikTok brained about it. And what I mean by that is you get like a headline and then you check the comments to see what everybody else is saying. And then you join in the reaction. Kind of like, I don't know, 2 minutes ago when everyone in the chat was saying 6-7. Like things on TikTok, they don't propagate the way information normally does. It has nothing to do with what is actually true. It has nothing to do with like whether something is right or wrong. It is literally just people looking for an outlet for their gut reactions to everything. Everything on TikTok is vibes based. And like, that's fine. But I think vibes based is a horrible way of interacting with real information about real people. So last year, when I uploaded a video about, if I remember correctly, it was just about like fast food and the decline of people wanting to do fast food because it was getting more expensive. And I framed the video as Starbucks, their stuff was declining in terms of popularity and this, that, the other. And I didn't mention in this video, oh, and also Starbucks is being boycotted because people don't want to support a company that has any sort of ties to Israel during Israel's ongoing genocide of the Palestinian people. Because I didn't say that in those words, my entire comment section just getting overrun with people telling me I'm a Zionist, I'm a genocide supporter, I'm a horrible person, I'm doing cover work for Starbucks. Just the dumbest things imaginable. And like, I do think if it was just a bunch of comments that were like, oh, hey, I think it's odd. I think it's weird that you left this out of the video. I can handle that. I can handle, hey, I think it's weird that you left this out of the video, because I wasn't thinking it was weird when I didn't focus on that, because I was talking about Starbucks, Wendy's, McDonald's, all these other places. So I could really quickly just be like, oh, hey, I see how that came across as weird, totally. And I wouldn't do that in retrospect. But here's my true thoughts and opinions about the ongoing genocide and all of that. So it's like, that's a normal reaction. And in the 5 or 6 years I had been operating in the commentary space, I had mostly been getting normal reactions. I know a lot of people say that like commentary sucks. It's full of... I've been getting the same criticism ever since I switched to commentary. Like when I was in my early 20s, people saying like commentary sucks. It's just a bunch of people that are obsessed with drama, you know, this, that, the other. And actually, I push back against that majorly. I really, really hate when people try to categorize being interested in drama commentary as a negative trait, because I find that low key, it kind of strikes me as misogynist, first of all, because like if you look at other things that are not predominantly overrun by women, because I do notice, by the way, that like, for example, my audience is like 75% women. Look at sports, for example. Nobody says sports fans are bad people for being obsessed with the ins and outs of every single little bit of drama in their sports fans that they're following. Like, bro, there are guys named Bradley out there that know their favorite sports ballers' birthdays and when they got engaged and like every little run-in or DUI or this, that, the other. Like, people can get really granular about anything. I just think it's really funny that like the further away you get, I just realized the chat stopped again. I might have to low key. I think y'all are breaking the chat. I could be wrong, but it's fine. Don't worry about the chat. We'll make it better. I don't really like the idea that commentary in general, and especially anything drama related, is a bad form of content. I don't believe that. And I think most of the things that people used to say about like these being miserable people, you're miserable if you consume or create this content, it's not true. I wasn't miserable making like a 40-minute video about Jeffree Star. Y'all, I was having the time of my life. That was great content. I found the things that I was talking about to be immensely interesting. And I have absolutely like I don't have any negativity for people who create or consume commentary content. And so that's what I really, really want to make like the main point. But I have a lot of criticism for this sort of new wave of TikTok influenced, just going off of the last 30 seconds of whatever it is that you heard, because that's all you can kind of keep in your like short-term memory, and just giving diatribes and ascribing all of these like negative, it's not even negative too, because I also feel like if you hop in a comment section and you're like, your vibe is off, or I'm going to go follow somebody who has more hair, or I don't know, I don't like the color pink, so your stream is awful. That's fine to go off of vibes, because these are vibes. But if you are genuinely in people's comments talking about like, you hate Palestinian people, it's almost like, where do I go from here? There's just a level of rancor that was not warranted by what I had done. Does that make sense? That's kind of what I was like bothered by. It wasn't cool, because I have always been like, I dish it out and take it. There's always people replying to the things that I've done, disagreeing with me. People disagree with me in my own comment section. That's why I get so many comments, because I let it happen. Like, I just have opinions and it's fine to disagree. But that was the first time when I realized like, wow, the vast majority of new people consuming this content are doing so in a way that I consider to be very dysfunctional. Makes it really hard to talk about anything, because then I have to go into my videos constantly thinking about like, is this coming across the right way? Is this 30-second clip of the video going to get misunderstood by everybody who is watching it? Do I have to rephrase everything I just said over the past 30 seconds? And actually, that's part of the reason I'm live right now. It's part of the reason I'm live, because I had so much fear. I genuinely had so much fear in just my heart and my head and everything of like, I'm going to mess up again. Everyone's going to think like I'm just hateful or something. It's not easy to read that you're a genocide supporter when it's coming from so many people, let alone one person. I just got so scared of every little thing I said that could be taken the wrong way or this, that, the other. And so the thing that I would like to tell you is essentially, I have never made content for stupid people. That's not what my audience is, in my opinion. Or if y'all are stupid, then so am I. We can all be stupid together. But like, I'm done. I'm done worrying about being misinterpreted by people who are not trying to interpret the things they're hearing in good faith. It's just ridiculous. I feel like I have strived so hard to create like I've strived so hard to create a safe space. By the way, I used to like not like using terms like safe space, because when I was a teenager, I got horribly radicalized by like anti-SJW rhetoric coming from like crusty dudes online who made me think that terms like safe space were bad, or like diversity was bad, or this, that, the other. And even though I completely got over that and shifted hella left or whatever, sometimes I forget that safe space isn't stupid. It's being triggered isn't stupid. It's totally fine to be triggered and need a safe space. I feel like I've gone out of my way to create a safe space with my content where, say you are in the LGBT community. You don't have to click into my videos worried that I'm going to call you a slur or like espouse some sort of weird transphobic rhetoric just because that's going to get me brownie points with people who would hate me anyway, right? I try to be open to anybody who watches my content, and I'm proud of the fact that I commonly get comments that suggest I do a sort of okay job with that. But it kind of sucks when I feel like the safe space I created is safe for everybody except me. Why is it that like on my own channel, I'm sort of just by posting a video on anything, I'm open to being called any level of like human scum because I didn't agree with somebody the exact way they wanted me to. I realized how lopsided I had allowed it to get in my head, and I'm kind of just moving past it, honestly. If I say something in a video and it's misinterpreted by, dare I say, TikTok people, it's not useful information for me to be like, oh, well, this means I need to change my approach and be more careful about the things that I'm saying. And I want to be really, really clear. Like, disagreeing with me, again, I'm doing it right now. I'm trying to like stupid proof my argument, but I'm not wrong. I think that's the thing, is like I had to be more confident, I guess, in myself. And me of all people, having made, I don't know, 100, 200, 250, I don't know how many commentary videos I've made. I'm kind of like the confidence guy. As people say, like, oh, he's so overconfident. My confidence was just shot. Okay, it was shot. Like, it was gone. I had never really had anything like that happen to me because I didn't know who I was creating content for at that point. It was just so dumb. Somebody said, yeah, it was just dumb. Someone said, I once got called a colonizer for describing myself as light-skinned, landlocked, and American. So yeah, the internet is full of a colonizer. Like, it really does feel like everybody's in a contest to see how can we bend this out of context. And I take no part of it. You could clip any 30 seconds of this stream out and just put it by itself, and it's going to probably sound horrible. It's just going to be a clip out of context of me saying most people, or the majority of new commentary viewers, are dumb. I don't create content for dumb people. I know it's going to get clipped out of context. And I don't care anymore because I also know that I am right. I'm trying to be more confident in my opinions because I like the honesty that I've always tried to maintain in my videos. I'm not like, I don't just like read a bunch of opinions and then say whatever I think is going to be the most reasonable take and is going to get me the least amount of flack. When nobody... I shouldn't say nobody. When it was a very unpopular opinion, for example, like that Shane Dawson's content really deserved a looking into, I looked into that. I didn't care about him 20 million subscribers telling me like, oh, this, that, the other. It doesn't really bother me. But I guess it does bother me when people who I do realize are like the average viewer, when they're the ones who are sort of railing against the things that I'm posting. That's what made me stop and think to myself, like, am I doing something wrong? Am I uploading hateful content? Have I missed the point? Am I not being clear enough? I don't know. And I really had to think about it. And I think the answer is no. I wasn't doing, I don't know, y'all. I don't know what to say. Someone said we're also in an era of people who lack literacy and the ability to seek and understand context. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I agree, but like, I think the whole media literacy debate is one that I was so unwilling to get into because it's not nice to call people or to suggest that people are lacking in literacy. It's not nice to suggest that people are consuming content in a way that is not intelligent. But it's true. So I really had to be like, you can't just be nice to everybody. And you especially can't be nice to people who are like, you can't see my legs right now. I do have legs. I'm just kicking. You can't be nice to people who are trying to kick you while you're down and making things up about you and this, that, the other. You can't be nice to people who aren't being nice to you. I don't know. It's just really odd. It's really, really, really odd. Someone said your real audience will know enough to uncover the truth for themselves instead of taking the clips as sole reality. Stay true to yourself. That's another thing too, though. I also didn't want to be one of those YouTubers who like separates themselves into like, well, this is me and my audience, and everybody else who ever criticizes me is everybody else. And I don't care about those other people. My audience has only grown to the point that it is because I tried to be, open and cognizant of things that everybody was saying. I love actually when somebody who is not part of my core audience can come into a video, disagree with something, and then moving forward, I have to kind of think about the way I presented that. I've grown so much. Sorry. I wasn't about to cry. I actually just like swallowed wrong. I've grown so much from people outside of my core audience. Honestly, like disagreeing with my content. I don't know. It's kind of interesting, but I think it's kind of sad that now I basically have to let go of that avenue because I can't sort through all of this external feedback and try to determine what is real and what is people just being TikTok about it, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Someone said I have no idea what happened. I saw the thumbnail and thought D'Angelo had cancer, bro. I don't have cancer, thankfully. No, nothing's wrong. Is the title too dramatic? It's funny because I was literally trying to go with an undramatic title. I'm just like, I got something to say, smiling in the thumbnail. I was trying not to be like the problem with commentary today. I was trying not to do that, but maybe it did come across a lot more dramatic than I intended. Sorry. Oh my God. Somebody said being kind is doing something for the good of it, and being nice is being agreeable. Being nice doesn't help all of the time. Well, yeah, I agree with that. I highly agree with that. Honestly, I would say being nice to people all the time will just get you nowhere, I guess. And it's okay to honestly be a little bit of a hater. It's okay to be a little bit harsh. It's okay to be like, hey, full stop. This isn't right. You should stop. And then just whatever backlash you get, it doesn't matter because you were still doing ultimately the right thing by not being a nice person. I think just kind of being like, well, I don't want people to misunderstand me is just like a level of fence sitting I'm really, really not interested in. I'm not interested in it. Someone said you were never wrong. Well, there's that too. There's also the fact that I'm just kidding. I've been so wrong, bruh. I've had so many just misfires, so many flops in my videos, so many times where I've said something, I've put it up, and then I myself have identified like, oh my God. And you did it at my birthday dinner. Like, surely there was a less stupid way of getting that point across. What were you thinking when you said that in that way? You know what I mean? Oh my gosh. Somebody said, is he coming out? Am I coming out? I can come out a little bit if you want. I'm non-binary, but however, my pronouns are still he, him. And I'm also still a man. So actually, I didn't come out at all. I'm literally just still a guy. You don't have to change anything about the way you talk about me or even perceive me because I am a man. I just happen to be a non-binary man. So there's that for you. There's that. Low-key, I feel like I want more representation for like non-binary people who are also kind of still part of a binary, because being non-binary doesn't mean that you're actually like being non-binary doesn't mean anything except you have identified in a way that works for you. And I think that's what's really nice about it. And I didn't realize that until I was, drumroll please, 26 years old. Womp, womp, womp. I was like, but how can I be this one thing if I'm this other thing? And like there was this chorus of voices in the back of my head being like, that is being non-binary, you doofus. You could be this one thing and this other thing, or neither of these things. You could be some of the things sometimes. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know why I was so behind with realizing that I didn't have to change anything that would make me uncomfortable. It was so silly. So silly. Someone said non-binary woman here. Yeah, no. Here, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a secret. I'm gonna give you a bit of a secret here. Don't tell anybody this. There are actually a lot of people who don't identify 100% with their birth gender, and they're walking among us without changing their pronouns. Like, if you are using they them pronouns because that is how you express your gender, that's one way of being non-binary. But I didn't realize I was over here ignorant as heck, thinking like, what are there non-binary people who don't go by they them? I know I sound really like slow and southern when I talk about these things, but y'all, it's not easy growing up in Texas and then North Carolina and realizing that, like, oh my God, there's so many ways to be. Oh my gosh. There's so many ways to be. Someone said, as a sort of gender non-conforming woman, I want more weird women. Exactly. I'm a non-binary woman. I do use they, them, though. Yeah, no. It's like, what I realized about gender is none of it has anything to do with any of the rest of it. So you don't have to explain how your pronouns match up with any way that you present yourself to external people. You only have to just tell them, hey, this is how I would like to be referred to. And realizing kind of like there's zero part of your gender expression that is contingent upon people understanding you. Massive load off of my shoulders. I just don't care if it doesn't make sense. I don't care. I don't care. Someone said, you're going to leave this up as a VOD? I am. I'm a non-binary woman and use he, she. You are collecting the pronouns like Pokemon. And honestly, that's the bag. Get the bag. Someone said, I love weird genders. No, same. Okay, wait, hold on. Can I go an extra step here? This isn't science. This isn't like, I don't know, queer theory. I don't know that stuff. But I kind of sometimes feel like everyone is their own gender. Maybe that just sounded really dumb. Or maybe it's, I don't know. Sometimes when I really, really think about gender, I'm like, maybe this is just me having no connection to gender, or maybe my perspective on this is wrong, but I'm just like, I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like maybe it wasn't that there was only two genders or two genders and no genders. Maybe there are like 8 billion of them. Maybe everybody has their own. But listen, it's like, that's not invalidating. Like, for every person who is like, I'm a man. No, you know what I mean? You definitely are. And I agree with you. I just think that's one of the 8 billion ways of being a man. Personally, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I love validating everybody's experiences. So it doesn't matter whether you are, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Be who you are. Just tell me your pronouns so I don't get them wrong, and I'll use them. Tell me your pronouns are Z, Zim. That's going to be a little tricky for me, but I don't care. I'll put the work in. Tell me your pronouns are it's. That's going to be really tricky for me because I'm like, am I being disrespectful? But I'll try. I'll try. I just want to be somebody who tries. I don't want to be hateful. It's so much more interesting to try, I guess. Someone said, I think that's why people say gender is a spectrum. I know. I think I just took the most basic way of thinking about gender, and I said it in the dumbest way possible. But again, we some yee people, okay? I grew up in Texas. I don't talk a lot about my upbringing, because it was immensely traumatic, actually. But it was so conservative, y'all. It was actually so conservative. Like multiple hours a day of conservative talk radio being played in my presence from like age 4. And this is the earliest I remember hearing Rush Limbaugh and Glenn Beck telling me that like this group of people is confused and this people. It's a lot of anti-black stuff to hear as a kid too, which is crazy being black and growing up in the conservative South. And it's funny too because I didn't live in like, I don't know, a small town either. I grew up in San Antonio, It is a bit more left than you would think when someone says Texas, but it wasn't enough to save me. I had to unpack so much self-hatred and hatred of others and this, that, the other. I think the thing that really helped me, though, kind of forgive myself was realizing, like, it wasn't my hatred that I was feeling. You know what I mean? When I was feeling bad about myself for reasons that had nothing to do with me, I realized, like, I didn't create this bad feeling, even though I'm feeling it right now. So it's not my responsibility to be angry at myself for having to unpack this. It's my responsibility to manage the feeling properly and be like, this isn't a real reaction. This isn't how we treat people. This isn't rooted in, you know, an actual understanding or anything like that. But yeah, gosh, it was so bad. It was so bad. It was so bad. Fox News, there's a bunch of other subsidiaries too. That's the thing people don't realize. I think when people think conservative radio, they're like, oh, Fox. There are levels. There are levels. Fox News is not the only conservative platform. You can go deeper. Someone said Texas is like that. Well, no, it's hard. It's hard because, like, I love Texas. I love Texas. I love the people there. I wasn't hanging around racist people all the time. I know that might sound kind of backwards to y'all because you're like, you literally just told us that you grew up in a conservative environment. That's just how Texas is. Everyone is racist, kind of, but you are probably in a bubble where no one is being racist to you and they're actually really sweet people. But yeah, oh buddy, it's tricky. It's tricky. It's tricky. Someone said I grew up on the same media and it was awful. The entire Fox News gambit is awful. Well, it's so manipulative. That's the thing. Because I think when it comes to other forms of radio, I call it radio because radio was the main thing I was hearing, but it was also on the TV, the Bill O'Reilly show and all this. It's presented in a way where you almost have to agree with it. Like if I say, you know, I'm going to make up a group of people and then hate them real fast. People who naturally have green hair. That doesn't exist in real life. Okay, cool. So if I'm like, I hate people who naturally have green hair. If you dye your hair, you're fine. But if you're born this way, you're a bad person. Obviously, no one's going to agree with that because that sounds insane. But if it's more like, well, people who are naturally born with green hair are less common. We can agree with that, right? And you're like, yeah, I agree that it's less common. And then if you kind of go forward to like, logically, it doesn't make sense to change the experiences of the majority to fit this like minority. And I'm kind of like, yeah, I guess logically that makes sense. And then it's not much of a jump from that to like, therefore, this minority group is causing problems for the majority. Like everything about Fox News and conservative everything is just presented as some sort of stupid logic puzzle when at the core of it, it's empty. It's like Pandora's box. And like you keep opening Pandora's box and there's other boxes inside of it. And finally you get to the main one, the true one, where you're going to find the truth, which is whatever validity conservative can like claim to. And you open it and there's nothing there. And so extricating yourself from that sort of silly logic game of allowing conservative people to convince you that like actually they're the rational people and all these other people are vibes based and feelings based. It's really dumb. That's why Ben Shapiro's whole shtick is like facts don't care about your feelings. Like I've realized recently feelings are actually awesome. It is not intelligent to prioritize facts over feelings. Human beings have emotions. What do you mean? Also, nothing that Ben Shapiro has ever said is a fact is a fact. I don't know where conservatives pull their information from, but it's not reality. I'll tell you that. Yeah, like I realize like facts don't care about your feelings. It doesn't make any sense. That statement doesn't mean anything. We should all care about our feelings all the time. It's so dumb. Someone said it really is a pipeline. Candace Owens. Yeah, oh my God. I think about people like Candace Owens and I'm like, must be nice. No, really. It's not nice at all. Like, I don't know. That level of buying into the hype, believing the hype, or falling for the machine, or pandering to it, or just being so morally bankrupt that you don't even care that the things that you're saying don't make sense. I think that is another thing that bothers me a lot about the whole conservative grift. When I tell you something, I do generally believe it. Like, let's say if I'm like, hey, I think that superhero movies are kind of played out. This is a real opinion, by the way. If I'm like, I kind of think that they've made too many Marvel movies. I'm telling you this because I believe it. That's my opinion. That's something real. If a conservative person is telling their audience, like, I think Marvel movies have gone down the drain because there's too many movies about women now, they don't even believe it. They don't even believe it. The average conservative grifter does not believe a word of what they're saying. It is literally like a checklist of like, okay, what is my audience mad about today? And then you just go down that list and say that this is woke and this is... They know that there is absolutely no bearing between, I don't know, a franchise's decision to platform a female character as being the main one and that series going down the drain. It's just so dumb. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Someone said having feelings means you're alive. Yeah, no, I completely reject this whole prioritize your facts over feelings because, like, I also feel like it's misogynist. Also, like, when I say things are misogynist, I'm not even always talking about, like, it specifically is meant to disenfranchise women. Obviously, women are the main victims of misogyny, but misogyny and the patriarchy is so incredibly frustrating when you're also a man or when you're anybody. When you breathe, if you breathe under patriarchy, it's actually really hard to do that in a way that doesn't feel like choking. And so, yeah, I find it to be a really just, because I think the thing is, like, there's aspects of femininity or whatever you want to call it in all of us. I don't think that this is something that we should have to repress. You know what I mean? I'm not just saying this sitting, in front of a green screen of the pinkest room of all time. Just naturally, like, the fact that we even assign terms like feminine and masculine to emotions is ridiculous in the first place. I'm not suddenly acting more feminine because I start crying because I'm sad over something. Doesn't make any sense. Makes less than no sense. I once read somewhere, I don't remember who said this, but they were like, if anger was actually considered to be the emotion that it is, nobody would ever be able to say, like, oh, women are more emotional. Men would kind of have that one on lock. But it's like, I don't actually believe that men are one way and women are another way. I genuinely don't believe that. I believe it's 100% social conditioning. I believe if you are raised socially and every time you exhibit this form of behavior, every time as a boy I express myself by crying because I'm upset, something has moved me, and I'm just like, no, what are you crying about? I'll give you something to cry about. Okay, I am being pushed into this box that people would describe as masculine. And so now when I'm 27 years old and I can find out the most devastating news of all time and just kind of stand there like, wow, that's really rough. I'm not having a masculine response to that news. I'm having like a dysfunctional response that was foisted upon me by society's just relentless trying to cramp me into this masculine box. So it's like anything about me that makes me feel like a man or whatever, I don't really think that was in me personally. Personally, I think like if we grew up or we lived in a world where we weren't being split apart from birth, like from actual birth of like, oh, you wear these clothes because you're baby Michelle and you wear these clothes because you're baby Mark. Like, it is not even possible for us to objectively identify how much of a number I think unnecessarily gendering everything has done to us. So yeah, me realizing that I'm also such a victim of the patriarchy was crazy, while also just still being a man. It's wild. Someone said it's another way of just saying boys will be boys. Well, yeah, because it's like you get pushed in multiple directions. Like, on the one hand, it excuses a bunch of things that should never be excused. But then on the other hand, it also creates these really dysfunctional people that don't see a problem with all of these things that are being excused. I don't know. It's like, that's not me making an excuse to say that a lot of guys genuinely don't see a problem with being misogynist. Like, that's not an excuse. It's true, because these things aren't being called out. In fact, you're rewarded pretty massively for being a misogynist. Do you know what I think about a lot? Don't tell anyone I said this. I sometimes think about a parallel universe in which I became a conservative grifter. Not that I am going to go off on a conservative grift. I'm not going to do that, y'all. Don't worry. But sometimes I do think to myself, like, it would be so easy. It would be so easy to have a podcast where I just sit in this podcast and I'm like, welcome to the Real Man podcast for real men. None of that weak stuff. And I sit here on this podcast for 2 hours a week, I guess, something like that. And I just spew the same garbage talking points. I could even use my prior history as like a bonus point. Yeah, I used to make those liberal lefty videos all the time until I saw the light. I just stopped pandering to women. You know, like, it's almost comical how easy it would be. Now, does that mean I go and do it? No, because I'm not morally bankrupt, or I try not to be. I hope I'm not. But like, it's so pointless. And that's why when you see anybody sitting behind a microphone, but especially somebody in a podcast set, and it's a group of guys, click out. You in the wrong tab. Let me tell you right now, you should not have that tab open. You should not have your ears processing audio. It's garbage. I mean, most of the time. There are some podcasts that are really great. Have you ever watched Distractable? Do you guys like Markiplier? I like Markiplier. Hello, I'm Markiplier. That was a horrible impression. But Markiplier and his friends sitting behind mics and saying stuff on the podcast is awesome. I love it. More of that, please. But I think like Joe Schmo 234, who has started the 5th Manosphere podcast of the week, does not need to be paid attention to. I think we need to really pay attention here. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Someone said the fact that you stop to think that if you're morally bankrupt means you're not, lol. I don't know. It's kind of hard. Because like, I also have depression in stream. No, I feel like the way people talk about depression, there's so many ways to talk about depression because there's so many ways to experience it. But I think the way I mostly experience depression is like me accidentally being convinced that I am the worst person to ever happen to this earth. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, wait a second. I have spent every moment of the last 27 years making everyone's life in my life harder. And that stops me in my tracks a lot. I would prefer not to think that way, but yeah, no, sometimes I think like it's really easy to be evil, I guess. But like, I don't think many people ever just stop and think about it. I would prefer if I just thought about these things naturally. I don't like it being a byproduct of me constantly having a running dialogue of like, no, you do have value. You do have, you know, I shouldn't even need to have value to be allowed to breathe, you know, but sometimes I don't know. I worry. I worry. I just try. That's what, anytime I start rambling about mental health or me trying to make changes to be a more beneficial person in society, I always wind up just coming back to, I'm trying. A lot of people are not trying. And so trying is automatically more than, you know, if you ever start feeling down on yourself because you're like, oh my gosh, like my carbon footprint, or, you know, I've contributed to this, or I've allowed this to make me feel this way, or I had this implicit bias that I didn't know about, so it was brought to my attention. But are you trying though? As long as you're trying, you're not one of those people who is just like turning this place into what it is now. Oh my gosh. Someone said I feel bad for existing, so I try to make up for others' moral failings by being better. I mean, like, that's the thing too. This is not a good environment to be depressed in, y'all. I mean, I do think that there are some environments to be depressed in. I'm going to put down my heavy laptop on its laptop case stand. What would you call this? I don't know. Tray. That's a word. I think that there's some environments that I would love to be depressed in. Okay. I would love to be depressed in like on like a remote island, not Hawaii, because I feel like we need to leave Hawaii alone. So I feel like I don't think that that's not where I'm going. Somewhere where I'm not going to be disenfranchising local people. I just want to show up and let me be depressed there a little bit. Let me have no social responsibilities, no responsibilities to my family or anybody like that, and just cry a little bit about how I'm sad. That would be awesome. But instead, I'm depressed in an environment in which I am actively causing harm. Uh-oh. I'm depressed in an environment in which I go through a 24-hour period and I did exploit people. I did. I contributed to the climate crisis. I did. There's no point in lying about it. You know what I mean? Anything that was convenient for me today was contingent upon things being really inconvenient for other people who do not have as much privilege as I have. That's a kind of rough environment to be depressed in, y'all. Because then it actually kind of starts validating my worldview of like, see, I knew it wasn't that negative. I figured me being here was just more trouble than it was worth. But it's like, nah, we got to reject. We've got to separate between what is chemicals in your brain lying to you and what are things that you can actually worry about. Oh my gosh. Save me. Someone said even the carbon footprint thing was propaganda started by BP so people would stop criticizing the oil industry. Okay, no, y'all, for real. Anytime a company is telling you like, oh, y'all, you can make a difference. We're now offering you this new option. We're now offering you paper straws is a lazy example, but it comes to mind. We're offering you paper straws. Stop and check their footprint. I promise you that day, that company has done more damage than you could ever hope to do. Now, again, kind of like I was saying in the beginning of the stream, that doesn't mean don't try, right? That doesn't mean, oh, I'm just going to be a horrible person too because the world is ending. But like, I'm sorry, anytime a company starts telling me anything about like the environment or trying to greenwash anything or being like, we've made these steps towards progress, or essentially making me feel like it is my responsibility to fix the climate crisis single-handedly through my actions. That is stupid. That's dumb as hell, dare I say. It's not my responsibility to single-handedly fix the climate crisis through my actions. It is my responsibility to resist, the forces that are really easy to fall into doing things that exacerbate this issue. It's my responsibility not to make things worse intentionally just because it's easier for me, right? That's what it's my responsibility to do. But I really do think like if you listen to a lot of the way that big companies are packaging their efforts to be green or to have you be green, it really comes across as like, we're going to save you from ruining the environment and then we'll all be happy and everything will be fixed. And I'm like, that's crazy because then your CEO hops on a private jet and just undoes everything. Save me. Save me. Someone said that's why we should listen to scientists and not companies when it comes to climate management, period. Exactly. I mean, we shouldn't listen to companies on anything. They're just trying to sell you stuff. Listen, I'm going to do my last 80 videos did not have any sponsorships in them, or maybe like 70 videos or something like that. I'm going to be doing some sponsorships this year, but before I have a contract, before I sign anything, this is like my last chance to say, like, you should really not listen to anything a company says that they're doing. I don't know, any initiative of trying to justify like, yeah, we are this massive capitalist organization, but it's just dumb. It's so silly. It's so silly. Someone said, I didn't drill all that oil. Me neither. I had to tell my mom not to generate AI pics of our dead dog in Christmas. That made me sad for everyone, for your mom, for your dog, for the state of just AI pictures. Oh, by the way, that is another massive tenet that I'm like super duper against this year. I'm going to be going pretty hard against the whole AI content thing. I'm going to make a video about it later. Right now, this is just me ranting. But like YouTube, hey YouTube, has been rolling out so many features trying to push us into AI. I know I made a video about it at the end of last year, but it's actually gotten so much worse. They want us all to become like essentially virtual influencers. There's this new thing that they're rolling out called YouTube Portraits, where it will create an AI version of you to interact with your fans for you. So like you right here on this live stream, you are all typing comments right now. I can see somebody says, I abhor AI. Someone says, yeah, real. Someone says this should be more of our responsibility to organize. Okay. Instead of that being me in real life, YouTube wants there to also be a case in which some AI was processing everything you're saying and reacting to you this way. I know that I sound unhinged. I know that I sound like I'm making things up when I say this. So I would actually like to share this with you right now. Hold on. I'm going to pull it up and show you. I don't feel like enough people are talking about this portraits thing that they're doing. Okay. So if I go to, I'm just going to call it like Google Portraits, I think is what they call it. Yeah. Okay. Look at this. Portraits. Personalized AI coaching built alongside real experts. So what Google is trying to do is roll this out for YouTube. They want to parse your worldview, turn you into a chat bot, and have you interact with your audience. They snuck that in there, and I feel like they're trying to be low key about it because it's not like they've blasted this from the rooftops, or if they have, I didn't see it, but they've kind of snuck it in there. Hold on. And I'm like, if this is the future that y'all think I somehow want to be living under, think again. This is insane. This is insane that you would add this functionality to YouTube. What? Is it not enough? Hold on. Chat, I have to ask. Was me creating 7 videos a week not enough? Should I have been uploading 14 videos a week? Is it not enough to just sometimes make really good content or passable content? Is it not enough to just like show up and try to be a cool content creator that people enjoy following? Do I literally have to exist at all times and just be completely accessible even if it's not real? I don't believe so. So I don't really care how someone said so parasocial. It's so parasocial. It's so parasocial. That's not me. I mean, in some ways, this is also not me, but like I work really hard for it to be me. I do a lot of work. They call it like deep thinking, deep work. That makes it sound like I'm thinking really hard. I'm not. I just basically try to put a lot of my brain cells into figuring out how can I make this thing that I'm portraying on YouTube really something that I feel like is authentic to me. So you're getting about as authentic as I can be. However, I'm just like, I don't understand why you would say to yourself, well, it's a persona anyway, so you may as well just turn me into a chatbot. It's so weird. It's so weird. Someone said I don't want some AI chat of a creator. Yeah, no. Why? I don't know. Listen, I will say this too. Like, there are boundaries, okay? I like talking to you in this format where I can read your messages, but I don't chat with my viewers. I feel like, by the way, hold on, because now we're getting into sort of some other territory here. I don't feel like it's a good idea to chat with your viewers in general. I feel like there are a lot of YouTube controversies that could have really easily been avoided had the creators simply thought to themselves, wait, maybe it's not a good idea to take this very public thing and move it to this private environment and start trying to be me, this public thing, in this private environment where all guards are off and I'm not being monitored and there's no accountability. So many grooming scandals, just all kinds of nonsense would just be avoided if people did not think to themselves, like, yeah, I totally have the right to have one-on-one conversations with my audience. It's just a boundary we don't have. I don't want that. I don't want to have one-on-one conversations. That's not why I started YouTube. I want comments. I love like live chat stuff like this is great because this is a boundary. But I feel like literally any attempts of breaking down the boundary between creators and their audience, I think they're mostly bad. I think they're mostly bad. I think there's already a perfect amount of distance where I feel very connected. Because there's the thing about parasocial relationships, y'all. They are still relationships. I know it's very parasocial of me to say this. I do have a relationship to my audience. I have grown this audience. I've worked hard to build something, and you were literally a part of it. So it's not like I just think to myself like, well, you know, YouTube user Johnny324 isn't a real person to me. He's just numbers. He's just data. I don't believe that. I would be nowhere if not for YouTube user Johnny324. I feel like I already messed up their name. But like, I don't think I need to think to myself, like, this is so real and so important to me that I'm going to take it to the next level and start infringing upon my viewers' personal lives. It's really, really weird. It's so scary. Someone said, I hate creator Discord servers. They're rife with grooming. I had to make a really difficult decision. It's sad, by the way, but I had to decide to decommission my Discord server. Actually, I haven't done it yet. I'm sure it still exists somewhere. But yeah, I think when you go live, people really encourage you to have a Discord server because they're like, you want a hub for your audience to know, like when you're streaming and this, that, the other. Even though I try to stream on a schedule, so you can just show up. You can show up when I said I'm going to stream and I'm going to try to be streaming then. But like, I had a Discord in 2021 and it was awesome. I loved my Discord community. The people there were really great. And the people there found friends. Like there are literally people through my Discord who have become friends. And it's like, D'Angelo, it sounds like you're taking credit for everything good in their life. I am. The people in my Discord would be nothing without me. But like, since then, since 2021, there have been so many grooming scandals and things where it doesn't even have anything to do with the creator. I've seen creators catch flack, kind of rightfully so, because like people in their Discord were grooming other people in their Discord. And so it's like, no, obviously that's not the creator's fault, but you don't want your name on that, bro. Yeah, I don't want like 2026's first grooming scandal to be in the D'Angelo Discord. Y'all, that's kind of rough, buddy. So in the interest of just avoiding all of that, unfortunately, I'm just like, sorry. We can all be friends here. And by friends, I mean not friends. Oh my gosh. Someone said, how do you feel about fans approaching you in real life? Okay, this is really funny. When I post videos really consistently, it happens a lot. Not a lot. I'm not famous. But like, it's pretty consistent that like I'll go to a new place and someone will be like, you're D'Angelo. I watch some of your videos sometimes. And I'm like, oh, thank you for the support and stuff like that. What is really funny is that when I stop posting videos, radio silence, nothing. And that is the exact level of fame / notoriety that I want to be at. I want to be able to stop something and just go out and touch grass and nobody pays attention to me. Nobody notices me. That's what I want for the rest of my life. So I actually really love it when somebody does recognize me and says that they love my videos. But honestly, though, what I fear is one day someone's going to recognize me and be like, you made a video about Jeffree Star and I hated it. Everything you said in that video was a lie and you can never beat Queen Jeffree. And then that's the last you hear of me. They pull out that AK, you know what I mean? Actually, speaking of AK, I've decided recently that my goal is to be like Fred Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, but with that AK. You know what I mean? Like, I do got that thing on me. I'm not going to use it, but don't try me. You know what I mean? I'm trying to resist these forces out here that are becoming increasingly militant. I do believe kindness is going to save us, but it's not going to save you. Gratata. That's kind of how I'm trying to be, like a nice person, but also not nice at all when the time comes for me to not be a nice person. Someone said, did they announce a gender / pronoun change? I don't know. Did I? That's the real question. I'm still catching up to earliest part of the stream. Heck yeah, another fellow he, him, non-binary man. We out here. We out here. All of us is out here and various levels of being out here. It's oddly calming to hear you after so long that I'm just putting this in the background as I'm doing work. Yay. Y'all, that is my goal. My 2026 goal. I want to stream more because I genuinely just want to be in y'all's background. Now, when I post a video, I would like that to be in the foreground, please. Thank you very much. Unless you don't want to watch it, which is fine. But no, I want to hang out. I want to bring down the level of engagement it takes to really parse a stream. That way I can stream for longer. Because something that I realized, and the main reason I didn't do something horrible in 2025 was because I had somewhere to hang out. I had things to do on the internet that were not constantly negative or full of like hate and this, that, the other. I'm going to be streaming, and when I do, I'm going to talk about whatever I want, same as always. But like, it's not going to be hours and hours of the worst people you've ever heard, making the worst takes you've ever heard. I do actually genuinely have the ability to say positive things in a live stream. Whoa. I mean, I could also do it in video, but if I title a video like Celebrity X has done something dumb, and then you click in and I'm talking about puppies for 5 minutes, no one's going to watch that video. I hate to say it, but if you click into a stream and I'm just like, hey, the general topic of the day is that Celebrity X has done this, so yeah, we can get into that. But if I want to stop for 5 minutes and appreciate or acknowledge something or be a more full version of myself that has the ability to interact with things that are not negative as well, I can do that too. I feel like live streams are a great format for introducing some positivity into the commentary space, which I feel like we could use. I don't want to live in garbage world all the time, because that's another thing too. We don't live in garbage world all the time, okay? I know there's a lot of pessimism, and it's warranted. It's warranted. I'm not stupid. Things are currently the worst they've been in my lifetime, for sure, for many, many groups of marginalized people, okay? I almost want to say most, all. So that's not what I'm saying when I say I don't believe we live in hell, though. Hell would be if everything was getting worse and there were still no good people. That's when it's okay to give up. I'm sorry. Reroll, respawn, okay? But what I really had to remind myself in 2025, as trite as it sounds, there are still good people. There are still good people. It doesn't matter how many racists or groomers or transphobes or whatever pop up in 2026. I'm not going to sell you a version of the internet on which there are no good people. I know it does well. I know that people, it validates a lot of people's experience online, but it's not true. Horrible people doing horrible things are getting really loud. They're getting really brave. They're getting really brave. That's crazy how brave some of y'all are getting. But we are still surrounded by people doing awesome things literally all the time. All the time. There are beautiful people doing beautiful things, helping each other. There's things that are never going to make it on the news that, you know, there's just so much good stuff that is still happening. It's not invalidated. It's just quieter. It's just more impossible for it to compete with the loudness of, you know what I mean? Like, listen, I'll put it like this. Nicki Minaj, unfortunately, going down the MAGA pipeline. Okay, so that's really loud, right? But how many songs did you fall in love with this year, chat? I'm genuinely asking. It was probably more often that you heard a song and you thought, wow, I really like this song, than, say, a musician revealed themselves to be a horrible person. I'm not saying on average more good things happen than bad things. I'm just saying I have had to work really hard to be more cognizant of the fact that bad things are not always happening. I can't just reject all of these amazing artists that I found just because one big artist is now showing themselves to be a horrible person. So that's why I'm really, really, really excited to stream. And also, I want to sort of like, not apologize. I acknowledge like I'm kind of all over the place on this stream, but it's because I don't have a plan. Going into my commentary streams, I will show up with an outline. I will actually have stories to tell you, but I'm just really excited to kind of have a format where it doesn't only have to be the facts. Because let me tell y'all, the facts are bad. The facts are everything is awful, actually. And when given a choice between right and wrong, the majority of people seem to be choosing wrong. I don't want that to be the only thing I tell you in 2026. I would also like to focus on my feelings. I care about my facts and my feelings. My feelings are, I still think it's amazing that I get to do this as a job. You know what I mean? We live in some of the most technologically exciting times. No, these have to be the most technologically exciting times. Like, what was ever more hype than this? And I'm not talking about AI. What was ever more hype than all these new ways of finding things that you're really into? So it's like, I want to talk about my feelings. I feel fine sometimes. And I want those times to be online as well, as opposed to just showcase of the time D'Angelo hated something. Showcase of a time D'Angelo hated something. Showcase of a time D'Angelo hated something. It's like, I have other sides. I don't hate everything. I don't hate everything. Just most things. Someone said, we care about your feelings. Please do. Someone said, this is so nice. It scratches my ADHD brain so good. Oh man, don't get me started on ADHD, because I'll never stop. No, I feel like low-key, I have struggled so much to convince the people in my life that like ADHD isn't what they thought it was. I think that people think that ADHD is like, I don't know, like I'm talking about something and then I'm like, squirrel. It is, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that it's going to manifest itself the same way in every single person. So just because sometimes I can be really, 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 I don't like the word functional, just because sometimes I can be really, really productive doesn't mean ADHD wasn't involved there. And I kind of tried to frame things that way. I'm happy to say, I'm not taking credit. Just kidding. I have a horrible habit of taking credit for everything good that happens to my friends. So I'm completely taking credit for the fact that multiple of my friends are now like hella medicated now. And I was kind of the first one to be like, hey, these things that you're struggling with all the time, I was struggling with them. And then they turned out to be ADHD. So I'm really proud of myself in that capacity. But man, it's a grind. It's a grind. It's not easy to get a person from saying like, oh, everybody has it, or everyone says they have it, to being like, oh, you know what? I think I'm starting Adderall. Man, it takes a lot of like accidental invalidation. So yeah, I've accidentally been invalidated a lot by people who are honestly trying to be really nice and be like, no, you don't have ADHD. You're awesome. Look how many things you've done. And I'm like, well, that's kind of ableist, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I don't think that most people who espouse... That's another thing that I believe. I don't think that most people who espouse behaviors that are like bigoted are trying to do it. I don't think most people... Now, granted, I'm not talking about your... conservatives or people who make a platform off of hating other people. I just think like it's so easy to just never think about what you're saying. It's not normal to think about the things that you're saying. So I don't think I used to get really put off when people would do things that are like, oh my God, that is ableist clearly, or that is like ageist, or this, that, the other. But then it's like, well, hold on a second, but I struggle with that a lot too. And I wasn't trying to be ageist. I wasn't trying to be ableist. I wasn't. Another thing I would like to talk about, maybe the last thing. Well, how long have I been streaming? Oh, it's only been an hour and a half. I have no concept of time. But maybe the last thing I would like to talk about, or maybe I'll talk about 5 more things. I hate the way people treat people for not knowing things nowadays. I don't like it. I feel like, again, getting back to this TikTok brained portion of users and commentary, people will learn something and then start treating everybody else around them as if they're dumb for not knowing it. So Bridget Bardot recently passed away. For those of you who don't know, she was like a French actress known for being hot, dare I say, more power to her, and kind of like sort of known for her animal, what do you call that? Oh my God, the word is escaping me. Activism, being an activist for animal rights and stuff like that. So chat, when Bridget Bardot died, I was like, oh, that's so sad. And that is a net loss. I mean, she was so old. I don't want to sound like it's okay to die if you're old. I was like, I wasn't really surprised, but I was like, that's so sad. I might have even been like, publicly, I might say something on the live stream like, Bridget Bardot died, guys, and that's so sad. Okay, it turns out she was like a mega racist. I'm talking levels of racism that they added a section to her Wikipedia she's had this Wikipedia section just documenting how bigoted was in every single way possible. Bro, she was a horrible person. She was it's not funny. I mean, it's kind of funny because she's dead, but she was a horrible person. And it's like, what I thought would happen is like people online would be like, oh, Bridget Bardot died. I was so sad. And then people would like respectfully kind of be like, oh, you might not have known about this, but there's a section on her Wikipedia that I think you should check out. And then we would be like, oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Dying isn't good, but like, whoa, maybe I'm not going to go, you know, like posting memorials and stuff. But instead, these people who I hate saying these people because I'm like, who am I talking about? People online who I promise you knew nothing about Bridget Bardot's past, learned about it, and then proceeded to start hating on the people who were just saying nice things about her, being like, well, she was this and she was that, and maybe let's not platform this, or maybe do like a bit of research before platform. I'm like, but 5 minutes ago, you didn't know this. Why are we acting like the people who don't have this information are bad? This is odd. This is really odd behavior. I think it has genuinely become a norm for people to learn something and then immediately start judging everybody who doesn't know that thing. Well, how could you not know? Everyone knows. And I'm just like, I really, really, really did not like that reaction to her passing, of everybody collectively deciding like we've all known this. And then there's this other group of people who did know, and they're like, this is their time to shine. But I feel like people get such a kick out of pointing out that things are bad nowadays that even though it is useful information to know that Bridget Bardot had these controversies, it's still being delivered by these people in a way that is so condescending. And like, it is finally my time to shine, the person who is more woke than you about, and I hate using the word woke, but y'all, let's be real. I'm a leftist, okay? I'm so far left. I'm so far left that like I'm not even a Democrat or a liberal. I'm a leftist. I'm not one of our two center-right parties. Thank you. But the woke Olympics are crazy. That's not me being a grifter. That's not me pandering to racists. If you're racist, just leave the stream. Just go jump in a hole. You know, that's not me pandering to transphobes or people who hate us by saying like the Olympics that some people do on the left specifically are they're crazy. We have to stop. We have to stop trying to be the most socially conscious, elevated, knows everything, third eye open, literally levitating in my... Because now it's about you. That's the thing, is like politics are supposed to be about the people. Politics are not supposed to be about companies, first of all, which is why capitalism as a whole, when it's used to influence elections and all these things, is just unbelievably corrupt. But it's also, this might sound kind of crazy, it's also not supposed to be about you. I know that might sound insane, but funnily enough, having correct opinions that don't disenfranchise people isn't about us coming together to crown you as like the most socially conscious person to exist. So yeah, I don't know what is with like this very specific kind of person that came out of the woodwork, and they come out of the woodwork all the time. It doesn't matter what is revealed to be what, someone will be there telling you, well, actually, I've known about this since I was born. Someone says because people are not actually woke, they're performing wokeness. Well, I hate what the word woke has turned into, because we should be woke. I should be allowed to say, hey, yeah, I am woke. Me going on a tangent about politics is woke. I really, really don't like that it's turned into like, if I say woke, my first thought is people are going to think that I am pandering to anti-woke people by labeling everything woke. First of all, the Black community really, really pushed forward the whole idea of being woke, being socially conscious, like that verbiage, that specific phrasing. It's very, very, very inextricable from Black politics, especially like here in the United States. And so seeing a word that is useful, does have social utility, just get turned into this buzzword where now sometimes I'm uncomfortable saying it. I hate it. But people do that with everything. People do that with everything. With everything. And it's okay. It's okay. I am woke. I am woke. I do get triggered by things a lot. And I prefer hanging out in safe spaces most of the time. Why would I want to just randomly be reminded that, like, oh, actually, many people hate me? Nah, we need to reclaim some of those words, actually. We need to reclaim woke, triggered, and safe spaces, please. It's so normal to need a safe space. It's so normal to be triggered by something. And there's nothing wrong with being woke. Gosh. Someone said I like that hoodie. Thank you. Look at me effortlessly transitioning between topics as if the thing I was talking about wasn't serious and now I'm talking about fashion. No, this hoodie is so fun. Actually, I've been really into like alternative fashion lately. I mean, I feel like I don't have to tell you that. You can maybe see. I cycle through aesthetics, but I've chosen this new aesthetic that I'm leaning into right now. And y'all, it's a lot. It's kind of a lot. There's like, I'm committed. Like, I'm kind of like, hold on, you can't see. I'm really trying to be like this video game avatar, I think is the new aesthetic that I've committed to. I want to look like I was created in a simulation. It's taken a lot of work. It's definitely a little bit harder to commit to than my other aesthetics, but like, yeah, I'm feeling it. Someone said, turn up the parasocialism and call us your fans, woke gang. Welcome back, woke gang, to... Oh, I just got the cringe so bad. Sorry. I cringed myself out saying that. I can't continue with that skit. I'm so sorry. You put a thought into the universe that was so horrible. It can't be completed. It cannot be completed. Oh my God. Someone said it's a full sleeve tattoo. Okay. I don't want to like make 50 million references to the tattoos and stuff, or I don't want to be that guy who has tattoos and is like, let's talk about my tattoos every stream. So this is all you're going to get in 2026. This is the only tattoo description or you're going to get. So please pay attention. I currently have almost completed. It's not done, but I've almost completed this sleeve over here, which I'm really happy with. I can hardly roll these sleeves up. I've got like my sad clown. I've got the scorpion. This guy is one of my favorites. I like this character because I feel like low-key, he's just chasing a bag. He's just chasing a bag, but like he gets painted as the bad guy due to dominant cultural narratives. And I relate to that. You know what I mean? We've got, actually, I drew this one myself, which I'm really happy with. We've got, you know, Angry Frog guy. We have this, I can't even show this one, but it's, I don't know how to show you that one. It's kind of hard, but it's like a dagger. And then I've already had these. And then I got my hand done recently. And recently I've been trying to get into this one as well. I know I'm doing a horrible job of showing the tattoos. Sorry. And then I got some stuff done here as well. I'll just take off all my clothes right now and show you. But yeah, no, I've been getting into sort of the tattoos, which is insane. Because as I said, I did grow up conservative in the South, and this is not usually how people do the tattoo thing, but that's okay. It says, I've been trying to be like, if I think something is cool, why would I let somebody's opinion of my body stop me from doing it? That's kind of what I thought about with my hair. I was like, if I think I'm going to be happy or cutting all my hair off, I don't care what anybody else thinks about what I do with my body. You know what I mean? And I extend that to everybody. I don't care what any adult does or chooses to express himself. I realize through getting all of these like body modifications and stuff, like that it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't say anything about like who I am as a person or this, that, the other. It's not something to judge other people for or this, that, the other. I don't know. I was just so backwards about so many things for so long, but I'm trying to be better. But yeah, be as alt or modified or not modified as you want to be. Wear t-shirts and khakis or wear the most insane clothes you can think of. Just wear something comfortable that you feel really good in. And don't worry about what other people think about you. Don't worry. Someone said that feels so non-binary. I'm living for it. Well, I've been trying to be non-binary about everything. I've realized that non-binary is not just a useful model for thinking about gender. Being non-binary is a useful model for thinking about everything. Everything. Someone would say, oh my God, are you making your gender your entire personality? Yes. My entire personality is non-binary. It's a lack of binary. I don't believe that anything is all good or all bad. I don't believe that anything is completely true or completely false. I think, funnily enough, I think my whole platform over the past 6 years has been me trying to straddle the binary and be like, actually, there's so many sides to this story. I'm going to do a weird crime wall and talk about this one person for 2.5 hours because this scenario is so outside of the black and white way of thinking about it. Yeah, no, I agree. Like, everything is low key, not a binary. I don't know why we are so binary about anything, really. That's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. I think one thing that is important too, though, like one thing that is really important to me anyway, is like, I really like, I validate people's experiences, even if it is completely binary. I know me saying like, oh, I don't really think there's binary might sound like I'm also saying you can't have a binary. No, I think that that's on the spectrum. It's on the spectrum to 100% be all the way on one extreme. That's who many people are. So I'm just like, self-acceptance, you should accept everybody. It's all just expressions of the same idea, which is that we need to stop having so many ideas about how other people express themselves. But that's the last I'll say about that today. Someone said, I think binaries help us simplify difficult topics. It gives us comfort. Yeah, no, that's true. People love to categorize things, and that's a very human thing. That's not inherently negative. I think when I used to draw a lot, I'm talking about when I was like 12. The worst thing that you can say to a 12-year-old artist like me, who is convinced that they are the next Michelangelo, was to call me unoriginal. Even though I had barely been conscious for 5 minutes and clearly did not have enough time to develop my own worldview, I thought that the things I was drawing were they came from heaven directly into my pen, right? So when I would draw something and someone would say like, oh, that reminds me of this anime, y'all, I would be pissed. I would be so angry. I'd be like, what do you mean it reminds me of this anime? I've never seen this anime. I'm making art. Google it. Do you know what that? Google it. You know, I got very Timothy Chalamet about it. And I realized when I was 13 and I became the wisest person in the entire world, that it's actually kind of a compliment. People see something and they want to relate it to something they understand. That's not inherently negative behavior. Granted, that's also not inherently positive behavior. It's just neutral. It's a thing that people do, right? And so now if you want to say, hey, this thing that you did reminds me of this other thing, I'll be like, wow, I didn't even know about the other thing, but great minds think alike. It's just unfortunate that form of thinking, which is very, very inherent in the way that humans are, gets twisted and warped so much into turning into, well, I'm trying to fit you into this box and I can't, so I'm going to react with anger. Or I'm going to react with hatred. I'm going to react by disenfranchising you. I'm going to react by invalidating you, right? I am not going to be respectful to you because I can't put you into this box. I hate that aspect of people's needs to try to understand everything they're experiencing, because after a certain point, or it comes to a certain point where you need to understand, no one owes you an explanation. If we were just more comfortable with being like, oh, there's some things I just really don't understand, we'd be so much happier. We would all be so much happier. Not everything is for us to experience. Lord, like, I don't know what to tell you. I think that so many people are so bad at letting something go. You have to be this one thing, or clearly if you're not this one thing, and they turn into like that confused woman gif of like the math equations fading in and fading out. And then unfortunately, these same people are writing legislature and disenfranchising the people who are confusing them, or rather the people who they are confused by, right? Because the onus isn't on people who are outside of the binary. But yeah, no, I hate it. I hate it for all of us. I hate it. Doing arts and crafts during D'Angelo's stream is a vibe. Hello. Bro, I want that to happen so much. I want so many crochet projects to be done during my streams this year. You know how Spotify, by the way, I'm not really rocking to Spotify lately. I don't know if you've heard of some of the things that's going on there, but I've been trying to switch. It hasn't been a complete switch because they have all my playlists. It wasn't like I could just hit a button. But I'm trying to shift. But anyways, you know how Spotify does like their Spotify Wrapped, and they show you all those things that you were listening to? I wish I could get like a D'Angelo Wrapped where I see all the things that people did while they were consuming my content. And I want people to be like, you crocheted 2,000 granny squares. Your community, you know, embroidered like 5,000 cross stitch. I don't know if embroidery and cross stitch are the same thing. I don't think they are. My mom would be really disappointed if she was watching right now. But I want a D'Angelo Wrapped where I can just see all the things that people were doing and being productive while I was just here yapping in your ear. That would be so fun. Someone said I've been buying physical media to stay away from Spotify. Yeah, nah, bro. Spotify is not it. It's not it. It ain't it. I changed to another app ages ago too. Spotify sucks. Yeah, no, that's Someone said, what happened to Spotify? Put short, people give them money every month, and then the people at the top are taking that money and directly investing it into things that are harming other people. That is the shortest way I can put it. I don't remember exactly what company it was, but I'm pretty sure it was like AI powered like military software. So people who are making money from Spotify are then investing that money in AI software that makes it easier for countries to commit violence. What? And that's just like one problem. There are so many reasons that you could feasibly ditch Spotify, but I think that was probably the most egregious one where I was like, wait, that's a lot. That's a lot. Someone said, are you coming back or is this a one-off? Chat, we are so back. I'm back. I'm back. Or, I don't know, barring something that I can't currently predict, maybe something will happen. Maybe, you know, Spotify shows up and gives me $10 million and they're like, don't ever criticize us again. I don't know. I donate a vast portion of that to charity. I might just keep 3, disappear. But barring any sort of deeply unethical actions on my part, I think I'm here to stay. None of y'all can buy me out. Okay, look. I can be bought out a little bit, but I need like, I'm trying to think how much money. Because if we're extorting billionaires, I can ask for as much money as I want. I need $100 million. If any company wants to offer me $100 million, now that I feel like I'm not thinking big enough, I need $250 million. If any company wants to offer me $250 million to stop criticizing you online, or even to make one final video where everyone hates me, and I'm like, actually, this company is awesome, I'll do it for 250 million. I'll do it. 250 million. I'm telling you right now, don't watch that video. When you see me post a video called Spotify is awesome, don't click into it. It's propaganda that Spotify paid $250 million for. I will then take the vast majority of that $250 million and split it up between various charities benefiting, you know, feeding people, housing people, bringing relief, that the other. I'll keep a little bit of it and then you'll never hear from me again. But I don't think that's going to happen. If that's the case, I'll keep working my job like one should. Someone said, ask for $1 billion. Actually, you know what? Maybe every billionaire in the world should just give me all of their money. If you think about it. I'm trying to chat. Can we think of any valid reasons why all billionaires in the world should not just donate all of their money to me? Because here's the thing. I don't think billionaires should exist. Actually, it's not me thinking that. I feel like it's almost objective that billionaires shouldn't exist. So make me the last billionaire. I'm begging you. Every bit of wealth that you have, transfer it to me. I want to temporarily become like an ultramondo quadro trillionaire. And then I will just redirect most of that. Oh no. Well, the thing is, like, even if I donated 99.9% of it, I would still have so much money. So I would redirect almost all of it, still have enough to not worry about money, and this life would be so nice. I don't know if y'all saw like a couple weeks ago or months ago. Time moves really weird when I'm not online all the time, but Billie Eilish was calling out billionaires and people were getting mad at her for suggesting that they should give away their money. And I'm like, but it's a logical suggestion. Y'all see I have a mic arm that I can like move around now? This is like the best thing ever. Anyways, it's a logical suggestion. You don't need the money. I'm not even talking about like ethics. I'm not even talking about morals. It doesn't make sense for money to just sit and accrue for no benefit. A human being cannot actually live a billionaire lifestyle. It doesn't take that much money. The vast majority of your wealth exists for no reason. And so I think when you start thinking about it like that, it's like, why? Why? But people are so awful all the time. People are so awful all the time. I hate it. Someone said that situation was so crazy. It was such a simple statement. I mean, people just love to misinterpret everything. I also saw a lot of people saying like, well, Billie Eilish is no poor herself. And I'm like, y'all think Billie Eilish is a billionaire? What? Y'all think Billie Eilish is out here disenfranchising the same amount of people as a billionaire to where she has no right to criticize them? That doesn't make any sense. That's when I realized like, okay, y'all just don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. There are billionaire singers. There's not that many though, because $1 billion is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Lord. It's so much money, actually. Someone said, I love the pink. It's making me almost as happy as seeing you. Well, okay. This is going to sound a little scary out of context, but I actually believe that a large part of making good YouTube content is figuring out how to lull people into a sense of security. I actually want people generally to feel a little calm when they click into a video. And I think I've achieved that pretty successfully over my last like 5 or 6 aesthetics, where you click in and things are very harmonious. You know what I mean? I want things to feel nice to look at, because I feel like it goes a long way. It's kind of like the opposite of brain rot content. You know how people try to make content that is really like overly stimulating and then just like putting it in front of kids and just messing with their development and ruining everything? I try to take a reverse brain rot approach. I try not to be very, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. I try not to like flash things or do crazy editing, because I think if you spend 20 minutes of your life watching a video of mine and that was a calming experience, that's probably just better than if you spent 20 minutes and I was just yelling at you, flashing bright colors the entire time. So yeah, I think about a lot about my aesthetics of like, how can I hypnotize people into feeling happier, even if I am sharing the worst information they've ever heard. Oh my gosh. Someone said all billionaires should actually donate all their money to me. True. Pick a random person. No. Oh, wait, hold on. What if they pick wrong? Don't pick a random person. Either donate it to me or someone from my chat. Oh my gosh. Someone said the brown was top tier. I love that aesthetic so much with all the beige. It actually carried over into my real life and I started wearing brown like so much. It was scary. But now I'm wearing a lot of black because I'm so over the state of the world. It just represents how I feel inside. We're reclaiming the color pink from Onika Magaj in 2026. Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. Pink no longer belongs to Barbie. I mean, I respect Barbie. She's a hustler for real. Like, she got that bag. But pink doesn't belong to Barbie. It belongs to me now. You don't even have to tell anybody. You see pink being used in the wild, just think to yourself like, oh, that's D'Angelo's color. It's nice that he's allowed them to use that. I licensed it. You and Jarvis are both my favorites because you just have soothing voices to listen to, and I don't feel like I'm overstimulated. Well, because there's literally enough people online who will yell at you. That's the thing. I don't have to be the 27th influencer on your feed yelling at you about this crazy thing that I blew up. That was another thing too, that like, definitely one thing a mistake I've made in the past was like when Mr. Beast was getting a bunch of flack, I didn't really understand a lot of it. And I've talked about this in a video before of like me not getting at the core of issues. I didn't understand what people were saying. I thought they were just like, this content is popular and I don't like it, so it's bad. But I really started thinking about just a Mr. Beastification approach to YouTube in general, and how right Jacksepticeye actually was when he said Mr. Beast ruined the platform. It didn't ring true to me at first because I was just like, I don't think one person can ruin the platform. I wouldn't re-record that video today. I know what he meant now. I didn't know what he meant when he said that, but I realized that completely prioritizing your statistics and creating experiences for people that are so data driven and have nothing to do with what is actually nice to watch, what will actually make someone feel informed or this, that, the other, just completely being like, give me your attention and don't you dare let there be a lapse in your attention for even half a second. I will re-edit this half a second of video because I cannot let you stop paying attention to me. And then making $1 billion or however much money Mr. Beast has made. Yeah, that is actually awful. It's been a horribly detrimental effect on YouTube, and it's been awful. It's been terrible for YouTube. I really, really, really do think that like the average content creator nowadays is unfortunately very Mr. Beast minded. I hate sentences like that. Why does everyone online have such a silly name? The average content creator is very Mr. Beast minded. I mean, I have a silly name too, but mine's on my birth certificate, baby. No, yeah, like I understand what Jacksepticeye meant more and more every day. I just wasn't, I don't know. I watched that video with my brain off or something. Oh my gosh. I hate overstimulating retention bait content where every single second must be optimized to the algorithm gods, because then you're not making content for people. You're making content for an algorithm. And it's like, I don't know. It's dumb. It's dumb, 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 dumb. Someone said Mr. Beast still didn't ruin it. It's still the platform itself. Here's the thing though. Something that I would like to highlight a lot in my content in 2026, the verbiage doesn't really matter too much. Because you could either say Mr. Beast did ruin things, or you could not say Mr. Beast ruined things, but we probably agree. That was the thing that I really, really should have thought about when I made my video responding to what Jacksepticeye was saying. I should have thought about what he was saying. That's the thing that I don't think people do enough nowadays, where people just kind of look at the phrasing of something and they'll be like, well, I don't agree with this phrasing exactly, but like the point still stands. My God, does the point still stand? So going into next year, even if we're getting into scenarios where everybody's really mad at someone's phrasing, I'm going to try to ignore the phrasing. And I'm really going to try to think about like, what is this person saying in the context of these other things that I know about them? You know what I mean? If like Mr. Beast had a clone and this clone was saying Mr. Beast ruined the platform, that's probably not good faith, right? That's probably not actually coming from a good place. I don't really think that would make sense to pay too much attention to. But if somebody like Jacksepticeye, who has been making good content for such a long time, and I do truly believe wants to make nice content for people to feel nice while they watch it, is saying something like that, I don't really have to get so hung up on the way he said it. You know, I'm really tired of people, and I'm not coming for like the person who commented in chat or coming for me in the past. I'm trying to learn and grow. I'm really, really tired of people essentially calling out people for agreeing with them wrong. It's so unproductive. It's so silly. It doesn't make any sense to be like, well, you probably hold the exact same opinion that I do, but you didn't use the words that I would use, so let's discourse. No, don't have discourse about this. I am all discoursed out. If somebody says something and you agree with the core, you can kind of understand what they were cooking, let it go. My God. I think we'll all be so much happier. We'll be so much happier. So we need to stop looking at things in black and white. The gray areas where we should focus on. For real. That's just kind of the whole vibe of my 2026. Everything is like, you know what I mean? Oh, you know, since I guess this is a stream about me complaining about things that I've noticed in the commentary industry, here's another one. Here's another one. I feel like being annoying has now somehow become actual fodder for people to hate you. I think like back when I was making content initially, like my old videos, you know, first foraying into that, it didn't matter if you thought the content creator was annoying. That wasn't really enough to be like, this person's career is going down the drain. It didn't matter if a celebrity was kind of just like passively annoying to you. You didn't turn that into like a journey to prove that this person is actually problematic in some way. But I've noticed there's been multiple controversies where while I was offline, because I wasn't offline, I just wasn't posting videos. While I was off of YouTube, I would look into something where everybody's like essentially dogpiling on this one person. And when I got to the root of what people were bothered by, it was just that they found this person kind of annoying. And it's like, what? Oh, this is so weird that we have a whole like cottage industry of like, this person's annoying. Here is a long form commentary video about why their fans are like slightly dissatisfied with them. I'm like, nah, fam. Let's just stick to things that actually maybe deserve to be called out. Someone said women get it so badly for being quirky. Well, no, okay, hold on. So Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. I want to talk about Ariana Grande for a second. Just because she has done things that deserve to be criticized doesn't mean you get to wholesale criticize every single aspect of her and her personality. It doesn't make it normal to hang out in spaces where all you do is talk about Ariana Grande and her body and the people she's hanging around with and her this and her that and everything else. People are getting so much more confident criticizing people for things that they can't change now. I really don't like it at all. What happened to, okay, here is a person. They are complex. They have many issues. There's some things about them that they can't change. And then there's these other things that are choices. What happened to sticking with the choices? I could sit here and talk about the choices that Ariana Grande has made all day. You know what I mean? That's valid content. I would post a video tomorrow being like, Ariana Grande made this choice and I think it's kind of weird. Here's why. That has nothing to do with the way that she looks. You know what I mean? And honestly, a lot of y'all aren't ready to hear this. It has nothing to do with the relationship she's currently in either. Because she's already in it. She's already in it. I think initially when Ariana Grande did the Ariana Grande and wound up with this guy, and so much discourse was about like, she cheated and he cheated, which I think was true. I'm not saying that shouldn't have been called out. I'm just saying the fact that like we are now still here and Ariana Grande can't seem to exist without these scandals following her around in context where it doesn't make sense to continue criticizing her for them. And yet I commonly see people get away with so much more when they're not women. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me. I find it to be performative. I mean, it's like we hate Ariana Grande. And she has done problematic things, which is very convenient for us because it validates this hate. So anytime she comes up, let's make sure we bring up this laundry list of things. Y'all, we know that Ariana Grande stole, you know, I don't want to say stole someone's man because men aren't objects. The man stole himself. You know what I mean? We know that they did that thing that they did. We do. I just don't think it's commentary to bring it up anytime Ariana Grande shows up. I also don't think it's really like cool the way people like raining on people's parades. It's okay to still like her music. It's okay to want to watch Wicked. It's okay to think that she was great in it. You know what I mean? This is coming from me who in a video was like, I think Ariana Grande's race swapping things that she's doing is deeply uncomfortable to me. I can still acknowledge that doesn't mean I need to turn into an Ariana Grande snark subreddit. You know what I mean? Snark subreddits in general are just like, oh, buddy. I don't understand the concept of a space dedicated to hating on one person. Because let me be real, when you pass, if the only thing that you're allowed to post about someone in a space is negativity, then it is hate. It's not hate to be like, oh, you know, Taylor Swift did this one thing that I don't like. That's not hate. It's not hate to be like, I'm annoyed that Taylor Swift has released however many variants of her album. That's not hate. I don't even think it's hate to be like, this stream, I don't like this stream. I missed D'Angelo when he didn't stream. That's not hate. You can say that all you want. But when it turns into, oh, the Taylor Swift subreddit where all we do is just look for any and everything we can criticize her about, I can't believe how normalized snark has become. I can't believe that this is now widespread behavior. Snark subreddits are huge. They're huge. What do you mean? Somebody said it's creepy. No, it is creepy. It's creepy. It's not normal to have spaces that are dedicated to hating on one person. You will never convince me otherwise. I don't care how many people tell me like, well, this is my hyperfixation, or these people deserve to be criticized, or we need these spaces because we're not, you know, we get ostracized for talking about these things in other spaces. I don't care. All those things may even be true. It's still not normal to have dedicated hate pages for people. It's so weird. Someone said Snark is low-key dying. I hope. It can't happen fast enough. It can't happen fast enough. It really can't. Someone said it feels very lol-cowy, except this becomes socially acceptable. Okay, hold on. I could make a video essay about this, but the point that I would try to make in this video essay is so tricky. I don't trust myself to write it yet. I don't really have too many video essays planned for the new year, or any. But the only topic that has been weighing on my mind recently is how lolcow has essentially adopted the language of inclusivity to turn around and just still do the same stuff they were doing on lolcow. So for those of you who don't know, Kiwi Farms is this disgusting website, literally think 4chan, where all the people there do is just say like slurs and dox people and hate on people for all the things that they're doing, and like people who really don't deserve that much attention, mostly because these people should not be paid attention to. But the people in general are like obsessive, hundreds of pages on these like Kiwi Farms forums where, and I'm telling you, like the moderators there, they don't care if you're calling people slurs or being homophobic or this, that, the other. This has been a thing for probably longer than I've been alive, right? Definitely as long as I've been conscious and on the internet, I've been aware of Kiwi Farms. That was, or lolcows, or like even some 4chan boards. Those are just the things we didn't acknowledge. We just don't acknowledge it. If I'm talking about a celebrity and I know that there's a Kiwi Farms page for them, I'm not going to go there and pull content from that because I know that the people there are hateful, right? What I've noticed is that there is a certain kind of person who I promise you would be an active Kiwi Farms user if Kiwi Farms was the only place available to them. But now, because we have these subreddits where as long as you're not calling people slurs, as long as you're not doing things that would immediately get you clocked as a hateful person, you can be as obsessive and mean-spirited as you want to be. I've seen people get their looks talked about, the way that they eat. I've seen things that are like, how is this not considered doxing? I've seen people's family members get harassed it's the exact same Kiwi Farms lolcow behavior, but it's now all of a sudden because we want to hold people accountable. We want to hold people accountable. Okay, what? Look, at the end of the day, I absolutely do prefer no slurs over slurs. So I'm not going to sit here and say, you got to hand it to Kiwi Farms. But Lord, at least they admitted that they were just hateful. It's what? It's, you're not holding people accountable by using that person as an outlet for any bit of like anger that you have in your personal life. That's not commentary. And just because that is what commentary is turning into, that doesn't mean that's what I'm going to be making over the course of the new year. It's just not cool. Someone said, what about Snark collecting info about internet predators? Look, y'all, I don't want to talk about it too much because then we start getting into semantics. But essentially, there is a line. And I do think everyone knows, like, there's a line. You know what I mean? That's all I'm really saying. I think the line used to be in one place, and it's moved a lot. And I think if you've followed commentary for a long period of time, you may have noticed the line move from, oh, hey, it's totally okay to collect info and make these exhaustive documents about people's behavior. That way people can see that they're supporting things that aren't right. Because that's what I was doing. The line has shifted way over to, here is anything this person has ever done. And here is a reach for why I think it's a bad thing. And I'm like, we can't do it, bro. We can't. I can't do it. I can't do it. Nah, fam. Someone said, as an ex-Kiwi Farmser, it's kind of scary how easily people get into very vigilantes / Kiwi Farms behavior. Well, I think it speaks to something that's kind of like inherent in people. Like, you don't want to see bad people succeeding, right? If I tell you, let's say right now, I uploaded a video, one of those horrible AI videos, and you have one of the most lifeless narrators you ever heard saying, this kitten conservatory was robbed yesterday by 3 unidentified, robbers. Okay, you automatically hate the robbers. You're like, like, well, no, wait. I don't think I would hate people for stealing kittens. Because if you take care of them, maybe this analogy isn't good. Okay, hold on. If you have an AI video and they're like, the cash register at this kitten conservatory was robbed by 3 unidentified, robbers who then went on to become billionaires, you're gonna hate them. This story was cooked up in a lab for you to hate these people because it's preying upon the very, very human desire to not see famous people, or not see famous people, not see bad people succeeding. And so again, it's kind of like what I was saying before about how I understand human beings' desire to categorize everything. That's not inherently bad. It's also not inherently bad to be like, wow, this person is wielding so much power and influence, and I don't want to see that continue because they are also doing things that aren't right. That's a neutral feeling. I think you should own that feeling. I think you should own that because this is how people are. You know what I mean? But again, it's like, where do you go with that? What do you do with that information? That's what really determines whether you're doing something that is totally fine or just something that is awful. Someone said the mention of lolcow made me flash back to Creepshow art. Okay, now that it's been long enough since the Creepshow art thing for me to say this without it being drama or a response, can I just say, for those of you who don't know the context, there was this YouTuber in the art community, or like the art commentary community named Creepshow Art, who... Okay. I'm trying to be nice. Some people thought we were friends, I guess, because she would mention me in her videos. And then it was revealed on a lolcow board in one of these obsessive places that she was like calling, not just me, everybody in that niche, which I used to be part of the art commentary community. She was like trashing their content, calling them names, trashing herself so as to give the illusion that it wasn't her. It was such strange behavior. She also kind of seemed like a stalker, and that was kind of the bigger issue. But I want to focus on the part that had something to do with me. Because that coincided with one of the periods where I disappeared for 9 months at a time because I was going through it. I saw people online saying like, oh my gosh, this must be why D'Angelo left. Like, he must be devastated. Someone check on D'Angelo. His friend was like talking mad trash about him on lolcow. You know what I mean? I just thought that was really funny because I'm like, I don't know her. I'm sorry. We ain't friends. I don't know this person at all. I honestly wish that was the reason I had left. Like, I wish I could have come back in a 9-month video, a video of 9 months later. And I'm like, despite me having a history of content that could honestly be called contentious and riling up all of these fan bases, the final straw was that one person said something mean about me on the message board, and I had to leave for 9 months. I wished I had left because Creepshow art was mean to me or about me in a space where I didn't even see it, and I don't really care. But instead, I had left at that time because I wanted to die all the time and didn't know what to do about it. Oh my gosh. Someone said this is the wildest stream, but in a good way. Okay, well, if you've ever wondered to yourself why all of my content is so methodical and why I get in and get out, but giving you A, B, C, topic, it's because this is how my brain usually works. Okay? My thoughts are a cloud of ideas that are loosely associated with each other. And one idea lighting up may cast like a faint light on an idea back there. So when I switch to this other idea, even though it's a completely different train of thought, you might be thinking to yourself, how did we get here? And I'm like, you're just along for the ride. When I create a 2.5-hour video about Caroline Calloway, it's because I felt compelled to turn my thought cloud into something linear. That way I could understand it better. So honestly, the vast majority of my commentary content across all platforms, whether that was me making really long form scripted essay content or me just on this channel going off about something that happened for 20 minutes, it's literally all just an attempt for me to actually parse what I'm hearing. Because when people present information to me, I can't process it linearly. It used to make me feel really dumb. It used to make me feel really dumb. Like if you give me really basic instructions and be like, do A, do B, and then do C, and then do D, by the time you add that fourth thing, I unfortunately reject everything I've heard wholesale because I can't process it. So I have to be really analytical all the time. That way things make sense when I explain them to other people. That's kind of the basis of why I write scripts in the way that I do. And I've gotten questions too in the past, like, D'Angelo, how do you write scripts the way that you do? D'Angelo, why are you so good at, like, you're not even scripted and you've explained this concept. I'll take credit. I explain things really, really, really well. I do. It's because when I don't explain things, I sound crazy. I sound like I don't know, a dog, the way I imagine doggies think. And I shouldn't say crazy, you know what I mean? But as somebody who has mental disorders, I can call myself crazy all I want. Sorry. As somebody who has mental disorders, let that be my one slur. I sound crazy all the time, and I try not to. And that's why I write good scripts. Someone said, D'Angelo, why are you the way that you are? Right? I loved your videos because of your genuine thoughts on things. You're going to love my 2026 content. Let me tell you that. Someone said depression is more complicated than someone saying something bad about you and you reacting. Yeah. To close out the creep show art thread, exactly. It definitely takes more than one person, you know, being unhappy with me for me to actually be like, oh, that was a final straw. But that's just me and the way I experience things. That's also, sorry, can I make it serious for a second? Since we are talking about depression? That's also why I really, really hate the rhetoric of, like, when people are going through things, people will blame the people in their immediate life. I see it a lot of times where, like, unfortunately someone will, you know, die by suicide, and then people will start pointing fingers and being like, oh, well, this one person in their life did this, or you people drove. And I'm like, that's such as somebody who has struggled with that form of ideation, that's such a deep misunderstanding of how things work. Depression would be so much less complicated if it was just all caused by one person. It can be exacerbated by one person. It could take one person to push you over the edge for sure, but, like, it's never just about that one person. It never is. It never is. Someone said, many of us have the same issues. That's why those of us who have trouble making it through a 30-minute video can watch 2 hours of your content without becoming overwhelmed. Hey, you know, this is my people. The people who, if unchecked, will explain things for 5 hours at you. But, like, if you're someone who explains things for 5 hours, but you know there is probably a way that you could have explained it in 45 minutes, my content's perfect for you. Watch any of my scripted content. I got you. I understand you. I really, really do. Someone said, I got told my very mild superpowers are to never realize I'm talking too much and to never lose my temper. Yeah. Oh, man. I got the talking too much allegations a lot when I was younger. And I'm just glad it didn't work on me. I'm just glad, like, the 5,000th time someone telling me, would you please just shut up about this thing that you've been ranting? And I didn't. I wouldn't have a career right now if I had listened the 500th time someone told me to shut up. And I was like, but y'all don't understand. This is fascinating. I was so annoying as a child. I will say this, like, I'm at least a little better at directing it into the right place. That's how I avoid the talking too much allegations nowadays in my older age. I think about the targets. Who am I talking too much to? If I'm talking too much to y'all, don't care. I will talk y'all ear off. I will rant at you. I'm not planning on streaming for longer than like 4 hours at a time. But y'all, if we really get into this, I will talk your ear off all day. I don't really like, I know y'all are receptive to that, but I think like being younger and just having so many thoughts about things, I really struggled with properly ascertaining if somebody was listening to me or even following me versus just like tolerating the things that I was saying because they want me to stop. And they're like, surely if we keep nodding, he can stop at some point, but I never stop. I never shut up. So yeah, my content's for the kids who just never shut up. Like, oh my God, would you stop talking about Shane Dawson to me. But I'm like, but I can't. I have an hour and a half more to the story. It's so valid to talk too much, in my opinion. Someone said I didn't realize it was you. I thought it was a different YouTuber for a second there. You look so good. Well, I'm just lucky that my voice is so recognizable and that I have the voice of a generation. That I just have like the hottest voice you've ever heard in your entire life. It would really suck for me if I didn't have at least that going for me. No, just kidding. I think like on a tier list of nice YouTube voices, I'm probably towards the top, but I have heard some people I've clicked into their videos and I'm like, whoa, are you narrating this from heaven? Have I died? I try to be like mid-tier good commentary voice. Oh, Lord. I just tuned in. I love the new look. Yeah. For those of you who just tuned in, which is probably a lot of you because I've been streaming for so long, watch the VOD. I'll leave it up. And look, I will say this too. I think personally that my explanation in the beginning of the VOD was fine, but even now I'm thinking about how I could have explained some of that better, and I still don't care. I need some water desperately. My lips are so, help me. So much better. Anyways, yeah, I realized I didn't even explain everything perfectly, but my goal, this is exposure therapy for me. I'm not going to explain everything perfectly. I will make a mistake. I will make a mistake. You know what I mean? I will say something wrong and you know, people are going to react to it the way that they do. And I'm not going to take it personally. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay not to explain everything perfectly. You know, it's how I feel. It's how I feel. 2 hours, no water. That's horrible. Okay. Yeah, no, if you ever see me go like 45 minutes, if you have been watching my stream for like at least 45 minutes and you did not see me take a swig, you need to say something. It's your responsibility. Imagine if you're watching me on stream and I die from dehydration. How bad would you feel? You know? Oh my gosh. Someone said I actually need to drink some water too. No, let's all drink water, actually. I'm being so serious. I'm not going to talk for the next 30 seconds. And if you can, within 30 seconds, get water, go get it. All right, it's probably been 30 seconds. Hopefully at least 3 people I saved you from dehydration. Oh, Lord. No, just little things like that. I mean, you know, a lot of times when I disappear from the internet, it's because like I was really depressed and I don't want my channel to be a log of me at my worst, because that's actually kind of hard to deal with. But this time, I was not nearly as depressed as I've been in the past because I was really, really, really staying on top of all the things that like neurotypical people or like just normal people, non-depressed people will tell you, like, oh, go touch grass. Oh, like, do all of these things. You know what I mean? Get some fresh air, drink water, go to bed on time. It makes me want to like, I'm live. I can't say crazy things right now. Well, it's not bad to say you want to throttle somebody, is it? It makes me want to throttle people, like non-depressed people, when they start explaining to me how if I just go outside, then I will feel better. But, and don't ever let them figure this out. They are right though, okay? They're not right for the right reasons. That's the thing about the people who don't know what they are wrong for thinking that it's gonna like fix you. But it is really easy with depression to forget about all of the things that you could probably be doing. That doesn't make it easy. Sometimes you even have to trick yourself into going to bed or trying to go to bed. Sometimes you have to trick yourself into drinking water, trick yourself into going outside. You know what I mean? Like, I used to have to set up appointments that I would have to go to just because my fear of missing an appointment and being an imposition on somebody was bigger than my fear of staying holed up in my home. I used to have to do that to get out of the house because that's the level of rot that I was dealing with, but I still did it. So yeah, no, you're not going to magically feel better if you touch grass and go outside, but there's probably things you could be doing. Someone said I hate so much that they're right. It pisses me off, bro. It pisses me off that low key, get some fresh air, drink water, and get 8 hours of sleep is pretty good advice for anybody struggling. If you have depression and you're not doing those 3 things, going outside, just being hydrated and sleeping well, you're making it worse. You know, I don't even like that verbiage. It's not like you're making it worse. You haven't set up the good enough environment for you to improve as much as you could. That's how I would put it. Because depression isn't something that we haven't done. And that's why the verbiage bothers us so much. It's really annoying to hear somebody suggest that it's essentially my fault. It's not. You know what I mean? But there's such a big difference between something not being your fault and there being nothing you can do. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I try to think about it. But it still pisses me off, though. Those non-depressed people are brave. Oh, I show up and I'm happier. And they're like, oh, you're looking so much happier. You must have taken my advice. And I'm like, yeah, but like, die. You know what I mean? How dare you be correct? Sleep is the best antidepressant ever. Bro, it's just so much easier for me to think normal thoughts when I am not exhausted. It's when I'm exhausted all the time, just doom scrolling mentalities, I fall into it instantly. Because it's like, okay, the world's falling apart. Politically, things are the worst they've been in a long time. Everybody's being really awful. People are, all this forms of bigotry. And my body hurts. It's hard keeping my eyes open. Yeah, things get infinitely more difficult. I don't know. I want people to take as much power as they can. And honestly, look, if you're hearing me say all this and you're like, this is great, but like, I literally cannot even get out of bed right now. Just do one thing. Just do one thing. I'm not even kidding. Throw away something. Your floor is too messy and you don't like it. Slightly clean up. You don't really want to go outside. Open the door, crack a window. Little tiny things. Do whatever you can and just work your way up, Someone said, why are you gracing us with your presence after all this time? No hate. I'm curious. That's a good question. I think the reason that I came back was because I hadn't left for any sort of important reason. Like, I wasn't exactly like, oh, I'm leaving because I have this thing that I need to sort out in real life. It was more like I left because I needed to figure out how to make good content without feeling bad about it and without feeling bad about the way people were reacting to it. And so I figured it out, I guess. Excuse me. I drink water and now the water is revolting. Not revolting as in gross, revolting as in I'm suffering. This is why it's easier to just, no, I am not promoting dehydration. Drink water. It doesn't matter how many repercussions you deal with after the fact. I'm reading chat. Someone said you've literally just been sharing facts after facts ever since I joined the stream. Well, I mean, here's the thing, y'all. Like, I how to word this without sounding like the most annoying person you know. I've had horrible points in my life, I guess. And I usually don't talk about them because I never really saw YouTube as a space for that. I was always like, well, people come here for commentary videos. And yeah, I have maybe 4 or 5 videos I've uploaded that are about mental health, but wholesale, I think the average D'Angelo video is just about somebody else. And so it really did strike me that like, hey, people are following me for me. They really are at this point. I know like people, I've gotten criticism for like people who hate commentary. They're like, how does it feel knowing that if you didn't put a famous person in your video, no one would ever pay attention to you? And I'm like, I don't know. If I was ever in that position, I would let you know. Like, I'm sorry. People do honestly watch me because they are kind of interested. So I'm trying to be a little more open about my thoughts about other things, since it's not like, a live stream. It's not like you can spend 4 hours on a live stream talking about one thing anyway. I just want to be a little more open, I guess. Slightly. Because some of y'all wild. Someone said, I wonder how you create such well-rounded opinions on controversial topics. Well, something I've learned is that it's not always beneficial. Hold on a second, y'all. Give me like 30 seconds or something. Wait, while I go, I'm going to play this song. Well, I don't know if I can play this song because it might be really, really, really loud. I might be really, 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 really loud. Turn down your volume when I hold my hand up, because a song will start playing that I think you should hear. This was going to be my starting soon song that you're going to hear the first 30 seconds of while I take a break. Turn it down. Down. Turn it down. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Did that work? Did you hear anything? Was it just silent the entire time? Because that would be really funny. But yeah, was that fire? Did you like it? If you show up at the beginning of my stream or just click into a VOD, if I actually remember to use that screen, you can hear the whole song. Yeah, no. It's just so funny that I literally... That was supposed to be the experience. I've been planning this comeback stream for so long. I did the background, or I didn't do the background, but I commissioned the background from real artists. I picked my outfit. I did all the things. And I was like, everyone's going to get to hear this song too. The song is going to be the thing. And then I forgot to play it. So next time I stream, maybe you will be able to hear it. So many people are saying their eardrums are gone. It was loud. Okay, that's on y'all. Take responsibility. I told y'all to turn it down. I told y'all I had not mixed it yet. I told y'all. That's on y'all. That's on y'all. I will fix the audio mix. Don't sweat it. I will fix the audio mixing. A lot of people, I feel like people don't realize it is so hard to have decent audio on a stream. Like, for you to even be able to hear me right now and then hear the things that I'm playing and this, that, the other. Oh, it takes a lot of tuning. But yeah, no, don't worry. We'll get that turned down. That way you can turn up. We're going to turn it down so you can turn up. You hear me? Also, I made the song too. I feel like that's worth saying. I produce a lot of music, but I don't share it because I feel like starting a music career is kind of cringe, personally. Kind of like I never want to be that YouTuber where I'm like, my real passion is music. There are a few YouTubers who actually do have really good music, but it's not all of them. And so because I never want to be that guy where I'm like, actually, I want you all to hear my true passion is beep boop noises and pots and pans clanging in an electronic environment. I don't share anything that I create, even though I make so much music. But yeah, my intro will be the only song you've ever heard. And when I say I made it, I mean I made it. When I say I made it, I mean I created it. I produced it. I did that thing that the rest of y'all could never do. Okay? These AI tech bros, you don't impress me. You don't. Do I think I'm superior to people who AI? Yes. Because I actually started with silence and I generated using my mind and the power of technology and samples and music theory and instruments, I made music out of nothing. Y'all could never understand how that feels living in your AI bubble. So yeah, I'm talking my stuff. Sorry. Someone said Conan Gray. Yeah, Conan Gray makes great music. He really does. Joji, okay, there are some people that I feel like were actually called to do music. That was so Christian. Why did I say that in the most Jesus still lives within my heart. I invited him into my heart when I was 5 because I got pressured into it, and he hasn't left. I've been trying to exorcise Jesus from my heart for 22 years since I was 5, and he's still in there. He's still in there. I don't believe anybody on this earth has a calling. I don't think we were put here. But what I mean is, I think that there's some people who are really good at music, and I almost think that they are better at it than they were at content. Even though their content was great, you play their music and you think to yourself like, wow, this really seems to be the thing that your heart is in. And that's how I feel about Conan Gray. His content was really fun. It was kind of cute, actually, just like little vlogs and stuff, if I remember correctly. But his music, putting his whole just heart and soul into it in a way that really transcends what he was doing. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, I don't feel like some people were called to do music. I just feel like I understand why some people would switch to music. But that doesn't mean that just because you have an audience and you are passively interested in music, that you need to be subjecting us all to the music that you're writing. Way too many YouTubers have released music. And listen. I've sang in videos. I've rapped in videos. I have ended one of my videos with like a 2-minute musical number. I'm guilty, but I didn't release that stuff. I wasn't like, I want you, I want you to support my music career. I think a lot of y'all need to cook more. I do think the average YouTuber releasing music needs to cook more. Okay, don't just think to yourself, oh my God, you know what's even more glamorous than YouTube? Being a star and then just thinking you're going to music to us. I'm sorry, y'all got to put that back in the oven. Y'all got to put that back in the oven. Someone says some people have an ear for it and a good brain for music. Yeah, I really do believe that. Like, I believe in talent and skill, but I believe it doesn't even matter if you have talent. I believe like you can build your skill up to the point where it will equate to talent. You know what I mean? I didn't know what music theory was a few years ago, but I had always wanted to make music. I had no skill, no game. I had no riz. I had no homies. I just had nothing. It was just sad. It was sad. I was the musical equivalent of a shut-in. You know what I mean? You just look at him and he's like, he's never got any musical sunlight. But I had something. I was like, I want to make stuff. And so I learned to do it instead of making one song and then releasing it to everybody and being like, I'm a singer now. Sorry, I don't know why I'm making fun of YouTubers who release music, but maybe someone should. Maybe someone should. Someone said, excuse you, I love trash. Okay, well, honestly, a lot of the music I listen to is objectively bad, though. Not objectively bad, but like, I don't think it's pleasant. I listen to a lot of stuff that has like really bad mixing, really bad vocal performances. Honestly, I'm really into just really strange choices in terms of like the instrumentation. I love it. Sign me up. There's this genre called hyperpop that kind of like peaked and died, but a lot of the people from that genre are still making stuff, and like it's almost like the aesthetic is how badly can you mix this? And I don't know, I thrive. But I mix myself well though. Don't worry. My intro song is not crazy. Happy New Year. I like Joji unironically. There's nothing wrong with liking Joji's music. That being said, my opinions on Joji, which no one asked for, I like Pixelated Kisses, his comeback single, because I think that was really dope. But it was a minute and a half. And I feel like so often Joji will release songs, and this is not just a Joji problem. This isn't like D'Angelo slams Joji in new comeback. So many artists are just releasing songs, and I'm like, that's not a song, that's an idea. That's an idea. Why did you just release a demo on Spotify? I want to hear a song. I want you to take me somewhere. Take me somewhere. I hate it here. I hate a song that ends in 2 minutes. I'm so sorry. What do you mean your song is less than 2 minutes now? Nah, fam. Oh man, someone said rest in peace, Sophie. Oh, don't make me sad. I mean, it's okay. Oh man, Sophie was amazing. No, that's the thing. The thing is, like, I like following music producers. Singers. I don't really care if people can sing or not, and maybe that's just a reflection of the fact that I can't sing. So, like, listen, you put Whitney Houston singing the national anthem on, and I will suddenly turn into the most American person you ever seen. So it's not like I can't recognize a good voice. Obviously, I love me some Whitney, Mariah Carey, you know, Adele has a really great voice. There's not really that many singers. I think that I'm like, whoa, their voice is crazy, but they are there. They are there. But I think what I'm usually drawn to more so is like the music underneath the voice, right? Because if we just have a bunch of great vocalists releasing a cappella stuff, it wouldn't hit quite as hard. I mean, Whitney Houston probably could have released something a cappella and just got #1 on Billboard because it would have sounded that good. But the average person, the average song takes so many people playing other parts and doing other things. And those people are in turn influenced by like so many underground scenes. And so that's why I actually really love Sophie, or I did. You know, for those of you who don't know, she was an underground music producer who kind of wound up going mainstream. She produced stuff for Charlie XCX, you know, some of these really surprisingly big artists. And she had her own sound that was, to this day, still identifiable. Sophie's been ripped off so many times, but to this day, like, you know, a Sophie drum when you hear it. And I feel like stories like that are so interesting to me. Tragically, a few years ago, she unfortunately died in her 30s, just in an accident. And it was just so sad for so many reasons. Obviously sad for everyone who knows her. Sad to think too about, like, where would music have even gone? You know what I mean? What would futuristic Sophie sound like? We'll never know. I don't know. Obviously, like, it's sad when anyone dies. Duh, right? But like, especially when people who are creatives pass away, I just feel like that extra little bit of like, wow, not only do I feel all of this like respect for their family and just hoping that they're fine and stuff, but separately, I also think to myself, like, it's just so sad that they'll never create anything. You know what I mean? I think it's so, That's how I felt when like Chadwick Boseman passed away. It was just like, not only is this awful for his family, obviously, and that's the #1 thing you should be thinking about, but then it's like, it's also just wild to think there will never be another performance from him. I hate it. And I don't know why I'm being sad. I don't know why I'm being sad to think of the idea of something being someone's last song or their last performance when that, you know, that person had more. And I don't know, it's just sad. It's devastating. It's devastating, as someone in the comments said. But enough sadness. I did not log on to YouTube to be sad today. Someone asked me, where was I named for our late King D'Angelo? Oh, that's another person. Recently, I just got really, really sad because I was like, for those of you who don't know, so like, I'm not famous, right? At all. I'm internet mildly famous. There was an actual famous D'Angelo who was an R&B icon. Okay. Absolutely. The reason I didn't go by just D'Angelo when I started my career, because I had not put the work in. He was amazing, not just because like he had R&B hits and stuff, but he was so locked into like this experimental side of R&B. Like, D'Angelo's R&B music was just pushed so far in a direction where you're like, I didn't even know this could be R&B. Like, this is rock. Like, it's drawing from all these other things, as R&B has always done. I feel like R&B has always been fusion music. But like, when he passed away recently, I was just like, again, it's like a 2-part process. First of all, respects to his loved ones, because that's the main thing where I'm just like, I'm sad. But then secondly and separately, I'm just like, what do you mean there will never be a new D'Angelo album? What do you mean? What do you mean? It's awful to think about. But yeah, no, rest in peace. He was so talented. It's just crazy to think about. But to answer your question, I realize I have a really bad habit of not answering questions when they're about me. I'm really good at redirecting them. No, I was not named after D'Angelo, even though... Yeah, I don't think I was. Me saying I don't think I was, as if like this is an objective fact. I'll ask my mom, but I'm pretty sure she said she just liked the name and thought it was pretty. She just liked the name. Someone said this is how I find out D'Angelo passed. No, I am so sorry. I hate to be the source of that information. That's awful. Yeah, no, he did. He unfortunately recently. Oh, that's awful. I hate finding out about these things. And someone said, genuinely, thank you for this because I was not built for this panopticon. What happened to Dave? Okay, I've been trying to ignore the comments. People are asking me what happened to Dave. I mean, I have like a tribute. You can't hear me anymore. You can't hear me anymore. I have like a tribute to Dave. Dave is virtual. This is Dave's. This is Dave's AI avatar. I'm joking. I'm not an Gen AI fan, but yeah, Dave unfortunately turned into a tech bro, where he was like, I want to be in your videos, but I don't feel like I should have to show up to work every day. So what if you just had an AI avatar of me in the background and still paid me the same? And I was like, Dave, generative AI is bad for the environment. People don't like generative AI content. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's going to go over well. But yeah, I'm joking. That's a 3D model. Again, there's no AI on screen. Actually, I don't really want to do this, but I'll show you. I'll show you. Where is my phone? Oh, it's on the floor. Why am I actually like, I act like I was raised in a pigsty. It's insane. But anyways, I will show you the thing that I sent to the artists. It's so bad. It's actually genuinely awful. But this is what I sent them. Can you see? This is my awful Photoshop version of the background that you're seeing right now. I made that myself. And then I sent it. Look what they turned it into. Lord, maybe some people actually are talented. It looks amazing. They sent me this back and I was like, whoa, you made me feel awesome for designing the original version of that. But yeah, no, just for being able to like, I just feel like in 2026, I want to create so many things. I want to actually make them. And I want to show y'all things in their unfinished states. I want to show you the earlier versions of things. I want to show y'all scripts. I want to show y'all like as if I've been writing any scripts recently. I want to show y'all, but I maybe I will. Maybe I'll put out a video essay. I want to show y'all the behind the scenes so you can see like people are still making things. Just because so many creators are going down the AI rabbit hole, that has nothing to do with me. I'm out here creating content, not generating it out of other people's content. What do you mean? If me, the person whose videos would not even exist without the videos I was reacting to, is telling you that things are getting too derivative, y'all got to go back to the drawing board with this AI nonsense. Someone said they thought it was AI. I understand though. I understand thinking the background is AI because AI is trained on the sort of aesthetic that I was trying to create with the background. I did definitely think to myself, I am at one point going to have to show people the original just so they realize I didn't type like pink Instagram-y aesthetic background into ChatGPT. But the thing you have to remember, ChatGPT images only look the way that they do because they fed a bunch of real art created by real people into them. And now it's being ripped off. But yeah, no, it's not AI. If I just wouldn't use it. Like if you see something in one of my videos and it's AI, I would genuinely not know, especially 2026 going on, like going forward. I've never used it for visuals or anything like that. But like the only way you're getting AI in a D'Angelo video is if I genuinely thought it was some sort of real asset and somebody else generated it. Someone said, is your zipper pull a throwing star? It kind of is. It's like this very cyber sigilism kind of shuriken vibe. Isn't that fun? Someone said we're getting D'Angelo. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm still an artist. That's the thing. Is like, yeah, I don't upload videos talking about how to draw backgrounds anymore like I did when I was a teenager. But I'm a creative person. It's in me. And so this AI landscape, that is a hellscape. Okay, this is my waking nightmare. I always knew that we would reach a point where the devaluing of art got this bad. I just didn't think it would happen in my lifetime. Because here's the thing. I already knew that people don't value things that people create because I tried to be an artist traditionally. I had a graduate not a graduate portfolio. I didn't go to grad school, but I had like a portfolio that I was going to try to use to get into art school. I put my best illustrations in there. I really drew my behind off, y'all. Hold on. I'll show you some of the stuff that was in my portfolio. I'll show you one of it. I drew this years and years and years ago. ChatGPT didn't even exist, but I really put in the work. I grinded YouTube videos and I was like begging my parents to like get me art supplies, and I was following people's courses and stuff. I was trying to learn how to become a concept artist because I thought that that's what I was going to do. And little did I know that the art industry is already so insanely predatory towards the people who are creating the very artwork without which, this world, or without which the industry there would be no industry without the people creating the artwork is what I'm getting at here. I was doing just like page after page of what I thought was like college level concept art, design work. I put so much of this in a portfolio, just page after page of like learning color theory and thinking I was really going to be that guy, only to realize I was like, I'm never going to make any money from this. I was like, I spent 18, 19, 20 years of my life with drawing being my main hobby, and just learning it ins and outs to a pretty technically competent degree, where I was drawing stuff like this when I was young. And I was like, but I'm not even going to make enough money to support myself. So initially, I had to make the really awful decision to deprioritize drawing. I had to draw less. I was like, it was already so hard to find validity as an artist. You know what I mean? Concept artists do not get paid enough when the products that they're doing concept art for can't exist without it. No storyboard artists don't get paid enough. No form of animator is getting paid what they, visual effects artists, 3D modelers, like, y'all would not believe me when I tell you the pay is crazy. And it's like, you're complaining that people aren't giving you money. Well, I'm maybe just more like, maybe you should make enough to live no matter what your job is kind of what I'm getting at. Maybe you should make enough money to not be hard up for cash, regardless of whether you work at McDonald's or as a concept artist or a CEO. That's all I really believed. And so realizing that, like, it didn't matter how much work I put into trying to be an artist the traditional path, I was never going to be able to convince the world to care enough about paying artists to really have a career fast enough to get me out of a bad situation. I had to switch gears and I had to choose capitalism over artwork. Womp, womp, womp. Really sad. And so that's why, if you've ever wondered, like, why is he so annoying about the AI stuff? Because I am literally the artist that y'all are replacing. Just because I don't draw as much as I used to doesn't mean I'm not the people who you are trying to replace. When you type pink stream background room into ChatGPT and it rips off my artwork, which was posted online before ChatGPT was made, my friend's artwork, anything that is available that people just think is up for grabs. It's a really annoying mindset, especially when people turn around and try to pass it off as being real or some sort of technological advancement or like art at all. So it's like, never forget, if you ever feel like I'm going way too hard on the AI thing, I already had to give up being an artist because the industry was so bad. I already did it. And then y'all made the industry worse. How am I going to give up on my dreams and then you're going to make it even more impossible to achieve them? Now, that being said, I found a new dream, actually. I still create, like I said, so much artwork. What I didn't realize, and I know this might sound kind of dumb, is that I didn't have to actually create art for profit. Whoa! Now, I mean, like, that's privileged. The reason I came to that conclusion was because my YouTube career took off. I had a job. I had money, but the privilege allowed me to be like, maybe I can just create art and I don't have to hope that this is somehow enough to feed me, to pay my rent, this, that, the other. So initially I was really, really, really sad about it. But nowadays I just try to be like, you know what? I'm so blessed to have any amount of blessed by who? Me. I engineered an environment where I have time to work on art and I don't have to make money for it. So, you gotta compromise. You got to compromise. You got to compromise. Someone said, I have a semi-creative role at my job and corporate is constantly pushing Gen AI. We often get assets passed down that are such obvious AI slop and it makes me so sad. Well, that's the thing that I realized. And this is actually kind of, I feel like AI is a really good, don't clip that out of context. I feel like AI is a really poignant issue because it's sort of distilling the problem to its simplest state. How can you stop people from pressing a button that makes their life easier, even if it makes someone else's life worse? I think the whole idea with like capitalism or like being anti-capitalist and resisting all these systems is like, please, please, please do not do the things that seem to make your life easier just because they make your life easier, when you could also be disenfranchising people. But it wasn't literally a button. It wasn't an actual button. Like, on the one hand, yes, it is a button. Anytime you hit click, accept, and you've given money to Starbucks, to Spotify, to Amazon, we are constantly pressing the button, if you will. But I think, and here's the thing, don't take this out of context, you do still get things when you support capitalist sinkholes like Amazon or even Starbucks. You should not be going and giving money to people who are in any way tied to funding a genocide. But logically, you did at least get a coffee. So I was at least able to somewhat understand, like, okay, that was still not the right choice in the grand scheme of things. But I see the thing that drove someone to make that choice. What gets me about AI is people are pressing the button many times for no reason. It's like you took away the actual product. That was the whole idea behind why we live in the times that we do, is because people were taking the product and be like, this product right now is more important to me than the ethics behind it. And I'm like, y'all are pressing the generate instantly button for no reason. The thing that you're looking for already exists. If you want to find a pink room online that doesn't belong to you, you can type pink room background and find tons of them. That's what I did before commissioning this. I had to look at a bunch of them for reference. It's so weird to me. If you're like, I need a background song for this part of my video, you don't have to go to Suno and type, documentary style, whimsical music and rip off somebody else's artwork. It already exists. I am stunned, I guess, at how, like, now that we have whittled down the, hey, please don't press the button that makes everyone else's life worse just to make yours easier, to something so simple, people will press it even if they don't get anything out of it. And I think that is why people get so appalled or repulsed or like so much of an ick, because I'm like, it does boil down to a moral issue. People love to tell you, like, it's not that serious. It ain't that serious. It ain't that serious. No, it is. It is. It really is that inconsiderate. You can be inconsiderate if you want, but don't be mad when people are like, I find that to be really inconsiderate. So yeah, that's kind of where I am on the AI. I can't believe y'all are doing this to create the worst pictures I ever saw in my life. Y'all are creating the ugliest images I have ever had the displeasure of crossing my desk. Y'all are creating the most soulless and unlistenable music I'm a pop music fan. I love me some soulless nonsense. Give me a song that has no ties to the artist's personal life. I prefer it. And y'all are still creating music that is actually empty inside. Why are y'all really like risking it all for nothing? It's crazy. It's crazy. Someone says the nature of overconsumption. Well, yeah, that's the thing, because like I thought that it was like, if you're given the option to do good and do bad, maybe it's sort of understandable if people click do bad because they think they get something good out of it. But now I'm realizing if you get the option do good, or no, you get the option don't do bad or do bad, people will just hit the do bad button because it's there, because it's shiny, because it's technologically exciting to them. We can do this, so let's just do it and flood the internet. I can't Google anything anymore. My writing process has been shot, okay? I say the phrase shot too many times. YouTube's gonna start thinking like, this guy's talking about guns. This is a stream about shooting people to death. I got to stop saying shot, shooting, and guns. But anyways, my my writing process, which to me is like the same thing. It's been ruined. Oh my gosh, Googling things is so bad, because I'm not even just talking about the little thing that Google will AI generate for you at the top. They will then have a bunch of sources that you click into them and they're full of AI garbage. You will look for pictures of people and there's AI nonsense there. You will look for like stock photos and stock videos, nothing but AI. And I'm like, Lord, no wonder people are getting their sources or their news from the sources that they are. Like, I think older people are kind of like shocked that I think it's like 43% plus of people within like the 18 to 29-year-old range say that they primarily get their news from like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and all that. We kind of need somebody to vet the actual landfill that Google has become. It's actually pretty difficult. Now, it's actually pretty difficult to do your own research. I'm just saying it. As somebody whose job is to do research, who is constantly doing research, it's gotten so hard to find things that are not AI generated, or things that were like, someone's not just lying to you. Things where someone is not like already having a conservative spin and then just trying to like foist that upon you. And so you think you just did your research. No, you fell into a pipeline. You think you just did your research. You got radicalized because you were trying to do your due diligence. I understand why people consume so much commentary content. It is nice to be able to trust that somebody has done the nonsense for you. And I don't think it's pure laziness. I think a really large part of it is because it's like, how do you even navigate this in the first place? It's so annoying. Oh man, I'm in the last hour of the stream, chat. I'm so sad. I used to stream for 6 hours at a time, which... Why did I do that? Who let me sit in a chair for 6 hours while being on, while being active, and who 3 times a week? I had no concept of work-life balance at all. But yeah, no, I think 4 hours is right about where I would tap out nowadays. But yeah, I'll do a little recap though. If you have recently joined the stream, it's ending in about 50 minutes, but you should stay because I do have some more stuff to talk about. But I'm doing commentary streams. They're actually really fun. Many of you in the chat will have had the experience of having been in my commentary streams. It's really fun when the streamer sits down with an outline and they're like, we're going to go through all of this today. Okay. This was just for me to break the ice and to kind of relieve some of my anxiety about returning to the stream. I see so many people saying water break. Hold on, I'm spitting. How can I take a break from water when I'm out here spitting fire? That's not even compatible. Like what? Anyways, commentary streams are so fun. If you had the privilege, dare I say, of catching mine in like 2021 or whatever, you will remember it is a blast. Okay, I come in, we're like, this is what we're talking about today. I'll name the stream. So-and-so did this. Let's talk about it. We point by point go through. You got to make sure you show up on time or you're going to be just hella confused. It's okay though, because we'll turn it into a video after. I'm so excited. To really get into it. But the reason that someone said this is the most fun I've had watching a stream in a while. That's the crazy thing. It's like we haven't even gotten started. This is the most fun I've had actually in a while too. But like, I feel like the streams after this are where the real fun starts. Like, I am coming at y'all with sources, stories. It's essentially like if you enjoyed the content that I was uploading on this channel, which you probably did because you waited 1 year very patiently and then showed up for a live stream after the fact, which I'm forever grateful for. So you're probably a fan of my content. You get to be part of the content now. You know what I mean? I'm just going to record the way I was recording, but live. We're going to go through the sources. I already have my whole setup set up. The setup is setuping. I'm so excited, honestly. Yeah. Now, as far as like schedules and stuff like that, don't say the word schedule to me. You know me better than this. Y'all, I posted my last video 14 months ago and you thought there was going to be a schedule? No. But if you follow me for long enough, you know I have active periods and inactive periods. I'm proud to announce this is an active period. Yay. And if you're like a live stream fan, as long as you're free around noon to 4-ish on Eastern time, or around this time where you are right now, Tuesdays, Thursdays, maybe Saturdays are really the only days I was thinking of. You might just catch me making the videos live. So this sounds so fun. It is. I genuinely think me, all those years ago, making that content live, that was the most fun I ever had creating content. Because the thing is too, I feel like so much of the stream has just been me like dragging other people without naming them. I'm not naming names. I just think that live stream content, when posted to YouTube for a video watching audience, is usually kind of mid. It's usually kind of mid because you can't help but shake the feeling that like the creator uploaded the video as an afterthought, I guess. I don't know. I find it really, really hard to watch stream highlights content. That doesn't mean it's bad content. It's just not meeting me where I'm at. But I think what I really, really prefer, there are some YouTubers who are really, really good at this. Their live streams turn into awesome videos because they went into that stream with a plan. Not much of a plan. I do find that the less you plan to stream, the better. But yeah, no, I'm going into these live streams with a plan. We're not just switching to a stream highlights channel. You're getting commentary, but with a chat, which I think is just going to be so fun. You know, I'm going to have fun. And then that was also too, like, to kind of, if you've somehow been watching the stream for the entire time, I'm sorry. But to jump back to the main point that I was making before of like, how do I make this fun again when I feel like I'm dealing with such an influx of people who are taking my content the wrong way? How do I feel good about creating content? This is how. I would like to do the content live. That way, if I say something and you didn't really understand, or I didn't do a good job of explaining it, or it came across in a way that I did not intend, or even that I didn't know, because I don't know everything, someone can say it. Whoa, it's like crazy that I didn't think of that before. I really do think that in this like hyper, just like the news cycle is like 5 seconds long. It happens 5 seconds at a time. And I personally don't believe that the time between a person creating a video and the person uploading a video is long enough for them to get every fact right anymore, because situations change so quickly. Or I also don't believe that it's really enough for just one person to do research, even good research, and have every single aspect of a situation understood with every level of nuance. I do think there need to be additional perspectives. I used to do a lot of work of just going to Reddit and just TikTok and all these places and finding people's additional perspectives. But here's the problem. I hate Reddit. I hate TikTok. Misery as far as the eye can see. There are awesome people doing awesome things. There's like niche subreddits. I don't know how to say the word niche. There's niche subreddits. That's not easy to say. Where people are posting the coolest stuff I've ever seen. There are niche TikTok creators who are keeping things alive. They're like historians on TikTok. There's like people doing the coolest stuff ever. But Lord, the average person on these platforms makes me want to never use the internet again. So because I don't want to have to trawl through the dredges of Reddit and TikTok just trying to find people who have differing opinions, because that is how I create good content, I want the chat. I would like to say, if I say in a video, For example, like, oh, this celebrity said something and people are being mad about it, and I don't know why. Here's how this would go in 2025. If I had been uploading content in 2025, I'll tell you how this would have gone. I would have said like, yeah, people were really mad about this and I don't know why. And then the comments come when it's just a video that I cannot correct. I can't alter it. At most I can leave a comment that no one will read. People are going to be like, well, the reason people didn't like that celebrity is because they're racist. And I guess I'm not surprised that D'Angelo is like excusing racism when it's not directed towards, say, black people. But, you know, like, it's just disappointing that so many creators are just blind. And I'm just like, my God, I was just wrong a little bit. I was just wrong a little bit. Me being wrong a little bit is not a reason that I should have to sit and be lectured about anything from, you know, racism to all these things that are actually really important to me. So because I'm kind of done with that, I would like to do so in a group environment. It's much easier for me to bring up Bridget Bardot and be like, yo, Bridget Bardot died, and that's really sad. And then for people in the live chat to be like, yo, D'Angelo, check out that Wikipedia. Please, D'Angelo, Bridget Bardot Wikipedia right now. And then I can go to Bridget Bardot's Wikipedia and be like, oh, not the racism controversies. I can't be out here lionizing racists. That's not good. Okay, so I've just learned this thing. And then you have in real time seen me acquire new information, right? Update my opinion, and then make sure I'm saying something that is true and not ignoring real issues. And nobody had to get confused about whether I secretly, you know, give a pass to Bridget Bardot or whatever, because I don't trust these new people to... I don't trust their attention spans. I don't. I think like people in my audience know my track record of content. So if something is coming across, I don't even think it would come across as me excusing things in the first place. But if it did, I really truly hope you would know that I didn't know, that I was ignorant. I think that's when I make mistakes. I make mistakes out of ignorance a lot because I don't know everything. I don't know everything. But I think just having new people assume that I was making mistakes out of malice was like exhausting. It was exhausting and it was stupid. And like I said, I don't make content for stupid people. And I don't want to like sit on my hands all day and just be like, oh, I don't want to piss off people who think I'm a bad person when I already struggle with this enough, being depressed and living in this place where everybody is being exploited. So I'm like, no, this was my happy medium. I thought a lot. I put a lot of work into working on my own thinking, trying to understand where people were coming from. Because it's not just enough to reject, I think, trends wholesale when you're a content creator. I can't just be like, well, I don't like 75% of the people who comment on commentary videos, so I'm going to keep making commentary my way. And if I ever make a mistake, it just is what it is. I'm never going to answer to it. That's not me. That's not who I am. That's definitely just not the kind of content I've ever put out. So I was like, what if it was a real-time thing where y'all could see me being a person reacting to something, and anybody in this chat could tell me something I got wrong. Now, again, if I don't see it, whatever. But at the very least, I'm going to figure out how to put the chat on screen. Like, that would still be a part of the video. It would still be a part of the video. I want people to see that, like, nothing is perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm not. I spend so much of my time telling people that I'm just a guy. My intro in 2024 was like, I said like I had a fake degree, and I was like, or maybe this is literally just me broadcasting myself in my room. My intro on my other channel was like, I think I said something along the lines of like, I'm a random person on the internet, you're a random person on the internet, and together we're going to talk about this, that, and the other. But it was like, no matter how many times I told people that I am just a random person on the internet, they still kind of act like I'm Jesus and should know everything. And it's like some of that I have to take responsibility for, because I do know that people are this way. So I can't just say things that aren't true. I can't just very carelessly spew misinformation, because I know that people are going to take it without being critical of it. I know that that's true, but I would really love for y'all to catch some of these streams and for you to watch some of these new videos and see just how much of just a normal guy I am. I really am. That doesn't mean I'm free from responsibility at all. I have a responsibility to, as I said, be, honest in my content and try my best to do right. But like, I don't have a responsibility to be Jesus. How am I going to be the prettiest person in the commentary genre and also just like probably the most entertaining person that the platform has seen in 5 years and also be Jesus? Actually, I've been streaming for 7 years, or I've been making content for so long. I guess what I'm getting at is, how can I be the most important person on YouTube and Jesus at the same time? I have to pick one. I was tired of trying to be God, okay? I'll just settle for being the funniest, best, most interesting person with the largest ratio of good takes that has ever happened to commentary. You're welcome. Just kidding. Someone said, I love how we can actually comment and not be posted because we aren't members. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, y'all. Okay, hold on. I love the idea of like channel memberships. Or I used to like the idea of channel memberships because I used to have them back when I was on Twitch. But recently I've kind of realized, like, wouldn't it just be more fun if everyone was a member? We don't all have $5 for a cool emoji to put next to our name. What if there was just no hierarchy and it was pure chaos and lawlessness and everybody was on equal playing fields? I don't have VIPs. You've been watching me for 5 years or 5 minutes. Well, I'm seeing your comment just the same because, like, I don't know. I just think it's really cool and radical to have channel members, but I also think it's really cool and radical to not have channel members. Someone said, well, at least you're humble. I am. No, like, I'm not. But it's okay. Nobody's perfect. Someone said, someone please summarize what happened. I just got here. Don't worry. The stream is ending. No, it's not ending. Don't leave. But the stream will end soon, and then you'll be able to rewatch it, and you'll see everything for yourself. Someone says, socialist king. Let's go. Oh, yo. Can I talk about something that happened to me in 2025? I became so much less tolerant of, like, the Democratic Party because I was misinformed. I was just grossly misinformed. I was kind of like operating from the standpoint of like, well, they're not Republicans. And therefore, you know what I mean? It's okay to be like supportive and, psyched and hyped about these things. I wasn't coming from a bad place. I don't think the average person who feels that way is coming from a bad place. But in 2025, I really did some research into policy and what the people who we were voting for, regardless of who we're voting for, are actually espousing and what they think about like foreign policy and how they treat people who aren't American and the people that they're pandering from and the people that they are being lobbied to. And I realized, I was like, oh, we actually, no joke, have 2 right-wing parties in America. I didn't realize it. I if you would ask me before 2025, I would have been like, yeah, we totally, like, leftist and liberalism and Democrats all goes together in the same bubble. I really had to step outside of this country and realize, like, wait a second. What I thought was like liberalism was American politics. And we are so warped that even things that are basically just centrist are considered to be like almost radically left over here. So I was over here really thinking like, oh yeah, I'm putting the work in. I was so naive, I guess. But that's fine. I don't hate myself for that. There's nothing wrong with being like, I don't want to support the Republicans, so therefore I have to support, these other people. It sort of almost sounds like it makes sense. And if America had normal political parties, it would make sense. But we don't. So I just want to say right here and now, if you ever hear me saying something that is like really, really against Democrats or like liberals in general, it's not because I am further right than them. It's because I'm trying to be further left than them. I'm trying to be further left. I think a lot of this stuff is still not good. We shouldn't stop here and celebrate. That doesn't mean we should reject all progress because it's not perfection. That's dumb. But yeah, you may hear a lot of me being like, I don't support this and I don't support that. It's not because I agree with Ben Shapiro. It's because I think some of these people are just, they're a little too close to Ben Shapiro for my liking. In my opinion. Someone said, what opened your eyes to it? I think what's going on in Palestine did. I mean, that's not a new development. That's not something new that's been happening. But to answer your question, that's what opened my eyes to being like, oh my gosh, we cannot just support people just because they're saying that they're this one thing when they could still be this words. Because I'm like, if you are out here not, you know, I don't know, you can't be that level of hatred for other people while still claiming to be a leftist. Or I guess you could, but I'm like, that's not the leftism that I thought I was supporting. So I don't know. That's my short answer, is like realizing how like it's just so, and that's just one thing too. Like another thing that really, I was like, oh, this is so annoying, is realizing how capitalist both parties are. They're so ready to just roll over for corporations in a heartbeat. Oh my God, everything defaults to like who has the most money. And I'm just like, how can this be progressive if, and I know me saying these things is like baby's first foray into real leftism. Well, sorry. I'm growing at my own pace. Okay. I had to realize these things for myself, but yeah, just realizing how like, this isn't consistent with what I believe is like a care-based ethics at all, because that's not even compatible with capitalism. So why are we so like hyper, you know, everything that is, no. Yeah. Just realizing how like American exceptionalism and imperialism and military worship and horrible foreign policy that just seems to disenfranchise as many people as possible. And all of these things are still completely acceptable while still running as like a Democrat. I'm just like, I can't do it. I can't be like, okay, I support you just because you're a Democrat, which supporting someone just because they affiliate as something is dumb anyway. But I'm like, it goes far beyond that. I would actually prefer if you weren't. I would prefer if you were not a liberal, maybe. But I would prefer if you were further away than the American idea of liberalism, because that's what I'm trying to be. And it's taken a lot. It's taken a lot of work. I haven't undone it. I didn't spawn this way. I haven't known this for the past 5 years. I'm trying. Someone said lack of hair, bigger brain. I guess I cut off the locks and gained some brain cells. But yeah, that's just my opinion. I'm saying it right now publicly on the internet. Just because I'm saying something that seems to be against the Democrat Party or the idea of liberalism, it's not conservative. It's further left. Leave me alone. So we all have our own journeys. It's okay. It is. Yeah. That's the thing too. Please don't beat yourself up. I mean, beat yourself up a little bit. It's okay to be like, wow, I was really dumb. But like, then stop. Be smarter. Be smarter. Someone said, have you read any interesting works about these ideas? You can tell this long pause is an answer for no. Y'all, I struggle with nonfiction. I think that's the most I can say, is I struggle with nonfiction. Reading theory, that's why I don't call myself a political anything. I'm not a political streamer or a political content creator, because I'm informed about politics, but like when it comes to the actual science, because politics is kind of a form of science, obviously. Political science is a thing. Man, you may as well ask me about rocket science. But at the same time, that doesn't mean I should just be completely uninformed and buy everything that people are giving me wholesale. But I'm just going to tell you this right now. I find political theory to be really boring. I'm so sorry. I can't read theory because it is boring. I truly believe that you can have good politics you can have good informed politics without being exactly like, oh yeah, because I read like these amazing books. I think that you should know who Bell Hooks is. You should inform yourself about like, what was the Black Panther Party and why were they labeled a terrorist organization? Like, I know things like that. I do look into history. I'm not like just content to close my eyes to everything. But when you start getting into things that are labeled as theory, I'm like, maybe I can leave that for smart people and just try not to be a horrible person. Somebody said, "No, everyone needs to read all the literature. It's fine." Yeah, no, I would say mostly just like educate yourself. Like, here's an example of something that I would say is fine. Are you familiar, D'Angelo? Are you familiar with like all of the alternatives to capitalism? If I say no, I think that's fine. If I'm like, no, I'm not familiar with every alternative to capitalism, and I don't have to be to say that the system is broken, I'm sorry, I don't really feel compelled to like learn everything about every other. Now, granted, I still need to know situations in which we did not always have it. That way I can know how to resist it. Because if you don't actually educate yourself by looking at things that are outside of the environment you're in, you're not going to realize which parts of your environment are fake and bogus. So I'm educating myself about capitalism to realize how much of the things that I just thought were normal are capitalist brain rot. That's fine. I'm okay saying like, I'm sorry, I can't name every form of Marxist or communist or socialist ideology or the differences between them. Sorry. I try, but it's information. It's raw data. I think that's okay. I sort of made peace with that. What I think is not okay is being like, I don't know anything about this and it's not my job to know. So I don't care. If I'm just like, oh, capitalism? Yeah, I saw that some people are against that, but like, I don't pay me, give me $5, donate right now. Who cares about capital? I think like, I try not to be that guy while also understanding that I'm not the first guy who knows everything about theory. And that's just my opinion. That's just me. You will never catch me out here spitting like sound socialist theory and like owning, you know, the capitalists or conservatives. I can't do it. But you will hopefully see me trying not to just be a shill or just someone who blindly supports everything just because it's more convenient for me. Because I also believe too, personally, that as much theory as there is, and as important as theory is for like legislature and all that stuff, at the end of the day, if you really do take a people first approach to politics, you're going to have most of the right answers. Now, sometimes you're going to have to educate yourself on how other forms of politics may actually be more for the people, right? Like, for example, let's say you have opinions on trans issues, which I don't think anyone should. I actually don't know why cis people are obsessed. But you know what? Let's say you have an opinion. If you have a person first opinion on trans issues, which is like, I believe that people should be comfortable and free, you're going to have the right opinion. You're going to be like, okay, well, if I believe that people should be comfortable and free, then I believe in gender affirming care. I would want to support that. I would want to make sure that people, if their identity and the way they express it changes, have the recourse to do that legally. I want to make sure people aren't being dead named by things like that. All of the policy kind of falls into place. I know this might sound dumb or whatever, but this is just how I think about politics personally. If you're taking a policy first approach and you're like, or you're taking a problem first approach and you're like, let's talk about the problem of trans issues. Let's talk about the policies. You lost. You went into it wrong. And I can guarantee you that your whatever opinion you're going to have it's just not right. Because why are you treating people's real issues as policies and problems? You got to start with treating people as people, and all of the policy stuff should be in response to how to help people. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. You'll never convince me out of that, no matter how much theory you throw at me. At the end of the day, isn't the best political position the one that sees people as people who deserve happiness and their own autonomy and who should not be the victims of people who have more power than them? That's why it's also the easiest way to have dare I say, the correct opinion on Palestine. You know, so many people are like, oh, I don't want to talk about it because it's like complicated. It's complex. It's complex. Yeah, it is, because this issue has been going on for longer than we've been alive. So there are elements to complexity to it. But how do you not have the people first approach of being like, hey, people have the right to not be displaced from their homes. That's how I started. When people started talking more actively about Palestine, I didn't know everything about the situation. It was like information I was passively aware of, but it wasn't something I had Googled. But because I went into it thinking to myself, okay, I may not have all of these facts, but I have the feeling that people being displaced from their homes is wrong. So let me try to use that to educate myself. And then I see like, oh, okay, this is happening. Oh, okay, that's happening. So it's just like, it's not even hard to have the right opinion on almost everything. Just think about the people who are involved and how they would feel as people. I don't know. Have empathy is like the lamest, most boring advice ever, but it's helped me not put my foot in my mouth, I guess. I don't know. That's just my opinion, bro. That's my opinion. Someone said it's complicated by a lot of complicity. Yeah, exactly. There's such a happy medium between being like, this is complicated and I don't understand it, so I'm not going to look into it. Okay, I don't think that's the right answer. If you're like, oh, hey, this thing is really, really important to so much of my audience, maybe I should give a single F. Maybe you should. Granted, that shouldn't be like the main reason getting you into politics, but I really do think like so many influencers will see that their audience cares a lot about an issue, and because that influencer doesn't know about that issue, they react with like a, oh gosh, well, I don't care about this, and why do you guys want me to talk about this? Who do you think I am? Do I look like I read political theory? Like, do I? And it's like, bro, just calm down. Figure out why people care. Look into it. No one's going to jump you because you didn't know about this. Oh my God, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. Anyways, someone said, what an amazing framing for gender and sexuality in the law course. Like, you were right on time. Thank you. Yo, if you are in any way related to the legislature, please fix us, Lord. I mean, it's not your responsibility, but yeah, no, I feel like kind of getting back to one of my earliest points in this stream, which is that there are good people. There are still good people in this world, but we're not in the right places yet. You know what I mean? Recently, I know people were really excited, as they should be, about New York getting, a more progressive mayor. Mayor. I don't want to sound stupid. Sorry. There's so many positions. Zoran Mamdani. I'm not going to mispronounce his name like everybody. Or maybe I did mispronounce it and I just embarrassed the heck out of myself. And so I feel like that was a pretty good example of like, there's so many ways to feel. You could either be like, oh my gosh, yeah, we moved in a direction that is more progressive and I'm happy and this fixes everything. Okay, no, that's goofy. But I also really, really don't think it makes much sense to be like, well, we got a little bit more progressive, but this didn't really fix the core issue. Sorry, hold on. I need to post on Twitter. This didn't really fix the core issue. So screw anybody who's celebrating this. I'm like, and you may be thinking to yourself like, okay, but D'Angelo, no one would ever have that take. You'd be surprised. So I try not to hate on people who are excited to see us make progress. I love progress. It's completely okay to stop for a second and be like, oh, we made a little bit of progress. Then I think that's when you turn around and be like, but what does that mean though? What is progress if it stopped after the celebration? You know what I mean? That's why we don't get too heavy into the celebration. I don't know. I do definitely feel like in the effort to make everything better and to want like the best possible outcome, which would be a complete overhaul of any and every system that we are currently under, I do sort of see an attitude a lot of like, well, anything that was not actually bringing us directly into that perfect system shouldn't even be celebrated, bro. It's okay to be a little bit happy that, say, you didn't get a conservative mayor this time. I am knocking over my mic arm. It's okay to be a little bit happy. Just don't be complacent. Don't be complacent. Don't be complicit. But it's okay to be like, oh, I'm slightly relieved by 0.1%. Someone said things can be good and you can want more. No, for real. For real. I really did feel like the New York mayor thing was a really good litmus test for like, I was like, man, you can't make me hate people for being excited for progress. Now, does that mean, I said someone there said, let's not glaze politicians. I agree. Does that mean if somebody runs and they say like, I am a socialist, so you should just wholesale accept everything they're doing? No, that doesn't make any sense. But just taking a moment to be like, whoa, someone ran as a democratic socialist and got elected in one of America's biggest cities. That's crazy a little bit, because clearly that is better than the alternatives that were previously presented to us. That does not mean that we accept this as our final form of the country is fixed and we can go back to breathing easy and we don't have to fight for people and their rights anymore. But I'm just like, yeah, nah, bro, like, let people be happy. Don't turn everything into theory. Again, you're almost kind of getting into like the facts and feelings debate from the other side. like you kind of are, because like conservatives will be like, facts don't care about your feelings, so there are two genders and that's a fact. Yeah, that's dumb. But I also it's not equally dumb and it's not the same thing. But it is own kind of unproductive to be like, well, it's a fact that this did not solve the issues we're dealing with. So your feelings of happiness, I'm going to come at you and be like, well, I don't know why anybody's celebrating this. I don't think that makes sense. It's not the same thing. But again, me trying to be balanced between facts and feelings means balance in all areas, no matter who's coming at me with what facts, what feelings. That's just my opinion. I really, really hope like someone watches this and they're like, wow, D'Angelo came back after a year to give his full political endorsement to the mayor of New York. How could you? I'm just like, I guess that's one way of looking at it. That's not what I thought happened, and probably most of the people in the chat, but yeah, no. And yeah, I guess another thing too is I didn't feel comfortable saying things like this last year. I did not feel comfortable in 2025 with the idea of making content and saying things like, hey, just because a position is coming at you from the right idea, just because it's coming at you from like the right place of like, hey, we need to make this country better, doesn't mean we always need to be, criticizing everything. I do think like me saying that last year, I didn't know how to explain myself properly. If I had said we don't need to be criticizing everything all the time, it's really, really easy and honestly understandable to interpret that as saying like, you're being complicit, you're being complacent. Why are you saying that we shouldn't criticize things? That's not true. I need y'all to understand something, okay? I need y'all to understand something. As a Black person in America, I wouldn't even be where I am without people criticizing and refusing to be complacent with the way that things are, no matter how many table scraps we are offered in the name of progress. You have to keep going, okay? You have to keep going. Because if you don't keep going, you abolish slavery and stop at segregation. Okay, clearly we did need to keep being progressive after Abraham Lincoln so that we could get to the point where, okay, now we're not segregated anymore. And then we need these other things after the fact. So I'm definitely not that guy. Just like that cushy, American. I'm just like, I think things are fine. God, I'm so glad no one ever thought things were okay at any point before I was born. I'm really happy that people who are very powerful worked really hard and did not let up on the issue. But where are you doing this? Rosa Parks wasn't on Twitter protesting. That's not where she was doing that. She was interacting with the police. This was national. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to get this across that like not every single text box on the internet is actually a platform for resistance. You're never going to convince me otherwise. Especially if people are not talking about things that have to do with whatever it is that you're like. Now, that doesn't mean don't educate people. Okay, I'm not anti-intellectualism. I'm not like blah 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 blah. I'm just like, sometimes things are just things in a vacuum, and they existed for a split second without being connected to the horribly depressing vacuum that is the systems we live under. And for that split second, it was cool to think about that one thing. We don't always have to do a speed run to how quickly can we tie this back into everything is awful and this is just another cog in the machine. So again, that's another big thing in my 2026 content. I'm not bringing you doomerism. Okay, I agree with everyone that the country right now is the worst that I've certainly seen it in my adult lifetime. Yeah, I agree that literally every single choice that has been made by this administration is wrong. Okay, I never for any moment am I going to be like kowtowing and being like, oh, I'm complacent because I'm happy. I'm affected by these policies and I have a lot of privilege. You know what I mean? And even if I wasn't, I should still look at all these people who are being, targeted in this, that, the other. But despite me knowing that, despite me staying abreast of that situation, I'm not going to come back in 2026 and just sell you the idea that everything sucks all the time and everyone is bad. I see it on Reddit. I see it on TikTok. I see it on, I don't even open Twitter anymore. But like, I always have that one thing about my content that I refuse to budge on, no matter how loud anybody gets in the opposite direction. And for 2026, the one thing you're not going to get me to budge on is like, not everything is bad. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I know that it's not true. I know that there are still spaces on the internet where we can have fun. There's still gaming channels. There's still people playing Minecraft on this platform. Would you believe with as much like as tapped in as you have been over the past, let's say, week? Think about all the horrible things that you've seen over the past week. Don't think about that. That's bad. That's not good. All the things that made you lose your faith in humanity. Well, people were also like rescuing kittens. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That doesn't mean don't criticize things. That's dumb. I'm not trying to be dumb and I'm not advocating for dumbness. I'm advocating for don't let anybody take away whatever shred of happiness you can find on this actual hellscape of the internet. That's my thesis. You're not going to take it away from me. If I upload a video and it was just about some low stakes drama, I'm not letting it turn into discourse. I don't care. That's not what it was about. Okay. That's all I got to say. That being said, I do see a lot of people saying like, simpler times. I saw a while back this thread, and this is the last story I'll tell you. Buckle in, y'all. It's the last story. Don't miss it. Let me die first. Hold on. Lord. I feel like there's something about being 27 where I don't feel old specifically, but I feel like things that were not enough to take me out before now seem like they have the ability to just completely wipe me out. Like me forgetting to drink water for 5 minutes longer than I usually would could probably kill me now that I'm 27. Or like my skin right now is looking pretty good. It's looking pretty fresh. But let me miss one day. Let me miss one day of my skincare routine. And I'm going to be out here looking like the Wicked Witch. Actually, Cynthia Erivo plays the Wicked Witch now. And she looks pretty good. Her skin's actually pretty great. So I wish I could look like the Wicked Witch. But instead, I just turned into a pizza. Because I skipped one day of my skincare routine. I don't know what it is about 27. But I feel like there's some things in motion that I'm not really messing with. I'm not... But anyways, this was the last story I was going to tell you. Before I go and leave you to go enjoy the rest of your first of the year, if it's still the first wherever you are. There was this Reddit thread popping off on Reddit where someone posted a video of high schoolers arriving to school in, I think, 2006 or 2008, something like that. And so many of the comments were saying like, oh my God, it was a simpler time. It was a simpler time. It was a simpler time. I miss when this, that, the other. And Whereas I understand what people were saying because, yeah, we didn't have social media. Yeah, we didn't have like 5 different ways of being sort of famous that are not really famous. And so like this person has power, but they don't really have power. And like, yes, certain aspects have gotten more complex, but actually I would like to posit you were simpler. I don't think it was a simpler time. I think you were a simpler person in 2006. I was a simpler person in 2006 because I was 8. I was baby. Wah, wah, wah. I was a child. Things weren't really much less complicated. I do think that issues change in ways that we have never seen before, and that reads as complexity. Because we now have the social media landscape, this reads as like an incredibly complex issue, but really it's just exacerbating negative tendencies that humans have always had, in my opinion. I feel the same way about AI. Like, yeah, this is not good. Net negative for creativity and all this stuff. I do, just because of my own experience I talked about earlier in stream, also see it as almost just an evolution of the problem that we already had. Multiple problems, which is that people are not environmentally conscious. The problem that people do not respect art or the things it takes to create them. That people don't respect like artist property or something belonging to an artist. You're like, no, it's mine. We should have it. AI is a new issue and it's complex, or I don't think it's that complex. Don't use it. It's problem solved. But like, I don't think a lot of the issues in the world that we're facing today are actually complex. I think we were just a little bit simpler and not seeing how many things in our life were just expressions of these complex things. And so that's how I felt in 2025 when I was not posting videos. I was thinking about my content and I was like, I started posting videos when I was 20, I think, if I remember correctly. 19. What? Okay, that's weird. But and for the past 5 or 6 years, I've been posting commentary videos. Times weren't simpler when I could just make a video about Jeffree Star and it's just a video about Jeffree Star in a vacuum. And it's not actually some sort of criticism about, you know, this, that, the other. It was just that we were in more of a bubble. You know what I mean? YouTube, no one was watching YouTube. I mean, like, I had a lot of views, I guess, but what I mean is like, it wasn't mainstream. It wasn't cool. We were really, really weird. We were the weird ones for like making and creating commentary content like 6 years ago. Bizarre. It was such a strange hobby that you explain to people and you sound wild because they just go back to like, wait, Jeffree who? And so it's like, I have seen commentary change a lot. And my gut reaction was like, oh, this is getting more complex. This is getting more complex. I don't like it. Wah, 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 wah. I had to really parse this. I'm like, I don't think it's getting more complex. Even though we have a higher ratio of people with no media literacy consuming content, I personally believe it's more of an expression of commentary has just kind of gone mainstream. Now it's not only people who are deeply interested in the most honestly pointless content. I'm proud to say I've made years worth of pointless content. No one needed to know everything about any of the people I've talked about, but I love doing it because I think it makes for interesting things to pass your time. But like, it's so mainstream. Everybody wants to have commentary. I notice nowadays the average comment that you get on a YouTube video is commentary now, even from viewers. I think before you could make a video and be like, here's the scenario. And then you'd have the comments to be like, wow, I didn't know about this. Wow, that's crazy. Or like, wow, this, that, the other. Now you put up a commentary video and you get these essays and it's like, did you also consider these other 5 facts? Or actually this person has a history of this, or I don't know if you see, it's like, I'm now talking to an audience that is actually, I don't know. It's just, it's gone mainstream. It's cool now, I guess, for everything to be discourse. And so my only way of not getting lost in the discourse or not hating the job or whatever, I'm just going to stay true to myself. If I say something, it didn't come out perfect. Well, did we die? Did we die? Did I die? Did I even, does it matter? It's okay. I let the people who are reacting to headlines with just their gut let them do it. It's fine. I will be fine. But yeah, I won't say sorry. I'm not sorry for not posting content. I don't know anyone content. I guess I was just sorry that like I was getting so bummed out because I just didn't know. I didn't know how to navigate it. But that's why I came up with my game plan. We're going to do the streams. I'm going to be more real time about the things I'm saying, and the things that don't come across perfectly, I'm letting them go. 2026 is not going to be a series of controversies. Check me. If I put up something and you're like, whoa, that was ageist, write it in a comment for the love of God. That way I can learn and grow. If I put up something and you're like, wow, he clearly has, just a gap in his worldview about this thing, educate me. That's how I became less ageist. That's how I became less transphobic. I say less as if I'm still those things. That's how I worked on dealing with my own internalized ageism, transphobia. I became less everything because it is a net positive for anybody in the entire world to be able to criticize anything that I post. However, not everybody who exercises that right should be giving me feedback. Just to be honest. And it's being misused now. So, wah, wah, wah. Anyway, someone said, can't wait for your 2026 content. Can't wait for the next stream. I came in. What's ageist? Ageist is when you have implicit biases against people due to their age, which honestly, I was really bad about. Bro, I kind of hated old people low key. And then the worst thing happened to me. I turned the age that I hated when I was 17. It's a little hard to be ageist when your definition of old. I used to think 27 was old. I'm not even kidding. I genuinely actually thought 27-year-olds were just like, ew, what is that? Why are you even still alive? Conserve resources. But now that I'm here, I'm like, wait a second. I'm still baby. Where's the instruction manual? I'm old. But then it's also like, wait a second. There's like people who are twice my age. I guess I have a little bit of perspective now. A little bit. Not much, because I'm still only 27. But like the fact that I would even put the word only in front of 27 now, I'm like, well, you must be kind of old. Because what do you mean you're only 27? You only already graduated high school. You could have a family at this point if you were normal. What do you mean you're only 27? But yeah, I'm only 27. I alternate between feeling older than actual God and like too young to even be allowed to drive or have unrestricted internet access. That's what my mid to late 20s have been for me. Just oscillating wildly between like, oh my God, I'm father time, and like, oh my God, I am an embryo. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Okay, well, my streams end at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And for those of you who don't know, it's 3:59. So something really scary is going to happen. I'm going to clock out. It's going to look like someone sniped me. Like, bam, where did he go? But no, I'm gonna hit eject. But thank you for watching the stream. I promise every single stream after this will be less chaotic. I will have an outline, but I didn't come here to outline at you. I came here to talk to you, and I felt like it was a really good talk. So all of y'all, enjoy yourself, get back to your new year, and let's just make some good content that doesn't make us want to cry all the time at everything. Bye.